What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 1A. 1. The ultimate innate ability of cows and horses. Please ask for flowers for new books. Advertise here. East Blue, an unknown island. The boy, who was about 3 meters tall, was lying lazily on the beach and basking in the sun. When you travel, you travel. But why did my sunny and cheerful boy become like this? NKA was excited, but also felt a little speechless. Yes, he traveled through time and into the world of One Piece. There is no system, no devil fruit either, the only one that can be called cheat. It has a paralyzed face without any expression, a pair of scary sharp eyes, and a heart that beats wildly when nervous. But this body is not useless. Natural Haki. Turtle card Conqueror's Haki, immune to Conqueror's attack and color detection. Taijutsu King's Engine, the deafening heartbeat sound can speed up blood circulation and seems to have no other use than scaring people. Physical skills. Calmness and composure. No matter how scared you are, your expression will not change. You are a master at pretending to be a ghost. Physical skills. Direct attack on the soul. The stronger the psychological quality, the more difficult it is to look you in the eye. Specializes in cautious masters, but may be ruined if you encounter a reckless man. F***KU. Can this be called physical skill? And what the hell is Conqueror's? Looking at his 4 incredible talents, and Ka cursed for breaking the defense. If a paralyzed face, staring eyes, and a pounding heartbeat can be considered physical skills, then who can't do 1.5 moves? Damn it, if you listen to what you say, you will study for 10 years in vain. I would like to ask, am I any different from an ordinary person? While Nka was making complaints about breaking the defense, several fishermen got off the boat carrying fishing gear, talking and laughing. They were in a good mood, and it was obvious that they had gained a lot from their trip to sea. Little Nka, why are you still here basking in the sun? Go home with Uncle John and treat you to a big dinner today. In the lead, a strong old man carried the heavy trophies while smiling and inviting enthusiastically. Nka is an orphan who was raised by the people on the island and grew up eating the food of hundreds of families. Although this guy has a cold face and scary eyes, everyone knows that he is a kind and good boy. Therefore, they treat him as their own child. Uncle John, it looks like you have a good harvest today. Nka, who had closed his eyes to relax in the sun, suddenly opened his eyes, and his handsome face looked particularly cold without any expression. The sharp eyes are like a ferocious tiger. When they looked at him, the fishermen's hands and feet suddenly felt as weak as if they had fallen into an ice cave, and the hair on their bodies exploded. They quickly lowered their heads and looked away. This feeling is like being stared at by some wild beast. And no matter how many times I have seen this look in my eyes, it is still so terrifying. Yes, we caught a big one, and there are many more on the boat, enough for us to eat for a week. High risk, high reward. Although the sea has not been calm these days, there is a lot of fish. John wiped the cold sweat on his forehead from being frightened by Nka, his face full of happiness and longing for a better life. Catching so many fish makes life more and more enjoyable. Then what are you waiting for, Uncle John? Let's go back quickly. A carp jumped up immediately, and Ka's face was full of excitement. Only food and love can't be disappointed. Not active in eating, there is something wrong with my thinking. He is 3 meters tall, with a slender and well-proportioned body, and strong muscle lines like a cheetah, full of beauty. If nothing else, the appearance alone doesn't look like an ordinary thing. But in fact he is really ordinary. It's so ordinary that you can't fight against the 5 scumbags anymore. In a real fight, you might not be able to defeat Uncle John. And Ka, with your physical condition, you will definitely become a strong man in the future. Why don't the villagers pool their money to buy you a boat? Let's go to sea. Wealth, dreams, fame, everything you want is in the sea. Ha 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 ha. John patted Nka's thigh and laughed boldly. What's the saying? Are the golden scales something in the pond? 3 meters tall, with built-in strongman filter, super oppressive. A proud man like Nka, who has a bright future, should not spend the rest of his life buried on this small island. Brother John, are you afraid that Nka will kidnap your daughter? The fisherman who was traveling with him joked. Who in the village doesn't know that John's daughter likes Nka, and the two are a perfect match for their talents and looks. It's just that the height difference is more than 1 meter. How to play with telephone poles and ant holes. John, who was worried about his daughter's health, decided to lure Nka out of the sea. Going to sea? No, 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 no. As soon as he heard that he was about to go to sea, Nka's head shook like a rattle. My family knows their own affairs. If he, a scumbag like Zon, really goes to sea, he may die without knowing where he is. The fisherman laughed again, mistakenly thinking that he couldn't bear the beauty. Nka helped, and everyone carried the caught sea fish back to the wine bottle village in a lively manner. There's just something wrong with the village today. The lively streets were in chaos, with people everywhere running for their lives in panic. What happened? Run quickly, the pirates are coming. Someone kindly reminded John of a few people. Broken. John's expression changed, he dropped the fish and rushed home quickly. Nka, on the other hand, fell into a daze. Pirate. This is the first time he has encountered the legendary pirates since he was a child. Only then did the young man remember that the world was not a beautiful place. Those pirates burned, killed, looted, and committed all kinds of evil, and it would be a disaster if they fell into their hands. The only thought in my mind is to run away quickly. Although his strength is not that powerful, it is no different from Zan Wuza. If you encounter pirates, you can only pray that you can run fast. No, you can't escape. Boom, accompanied by a loud bang. A huge figure wearing golden armor descended from the sky and stood in front of everyone. A majestic body fully armed with an extremely ferocious and rugged appearance. East Blue Overlord, Creek. It's over, everything is over. Seeing the visitor, Fisherman John and his friends seemed to have been drained of all their strength. Sitting on the ground helplessly. The bounty is 17 million Baileys. He has been the dominant player in East Blue for a long time. Arrogant, ungrateful, and cruel, even his own subordinates can live or die. He thinks he is invincible and is arrogant, ruthless and despicable all at once. East Blue Overlord, Creek. If you meet him, there will be no tomorrow for this island. To this terrifying sense of oppression, request for new book. Advertise here. Hand over the treasure and the women. Creek smiled evilly and pointed the big gun at everyone. He was stained with countless blood and killings, and his frightening evil spirit filled the whole place. We are all good people who make a living by fishing and farming. Where have you ever seen this scene? Immediately my calves trembled with fear. Not to mention resisting, it's difficult to even run away. Let me go, help. At this moment, a clear and familiar female voice sounded. And Ka's heart thumped and he immediately turned his head to look. I saw a girl in a small floral dress being carried towards the house by a few sloppy and ugly pirate men. The desperate look of the girl and the lewd smiles of the pirates form the ultimate contrast. Ellie, Uncle John couldn't bear the blow and suffered a heart attack on the spot, falling to the ground and convulsing. That girl is his only daughter, Ellie. If she falls into the hands of pirates, you can imagine her fate. Let go of that girl. Unknown anger rose in his heart, and Nka suddenly shouted. Eily is his childhood sweetheart. Although he is a scumbag, he is not so cowardly as to remain indifferent even if his beloved girl is snatched away. The boy's energetic voice resounded throughout the village, and he immediately became the focus of the audience. Everyone looked over in surprise and saw a shocking scene. The oppressive cold-faced boy stands proudly and confronts hundreds of pirates. It's Anka, asshole, who are you? The scarred-eyed pirate who was carrying Ellie turned around and cursed angrily. But the next moment, his face was covered in cold sweat, and his calves couldn't stop shaking. The smelly yellow liquid flows out from under the crotch. I was so scared that I peed. Just because. Looking into Nka's cold and sharp gaze, the scarred-eyed pirate felt like he was facing the highest mountain in human history. The unparalleled sense of oppression quickly broke his will. Boom. The scar-eyed pirate sat slumped on the ground, breathing heavily in an extremely embarrassed manner. Those few seconds were simply more difficult than the time he walked through the door of hell. The other two pirates performed even worse than him. That look was just like a drowning person who had just been rescued and was surviving the disaster. Nka, Eily, who fell to the ground, took advantage of the fact that several pirates were frightened and rushed into Nka's arms, sobbing softly. Don't cry, don't cry. Everyone, come and save Uncle John. His medicine is in his coat pocket. The girl was only a little over 1.7 meters tall, and the 3-meter tall Anna was squatting down and comforting the girl with his arms. Oh okay, I know. As Nka stepped forward, the villagers also had a backbone. They immediately stepped forward to rescue John and began rescue operations. You little brat. Creek stared at Nka with extremely fearful eyes. Just a glance. Just scare the shit out of your ferocious subordinates who have experienced hundreds of battles. What an amazing courage. Even he himself had to avoid the edge of that terrifying gaze. The owner of these eyes must be no ordinary person. At the very least, it's definitely not something you can afford. Nka's sharp gaze fell on Creek. The feeling of oppression, which was almost intense and substantial, came instantly. The whole world is quiet. At this moment, it was as if Crick had transformed into a mouse, facing his natural enemy, the cat. The overlord of East Blue almost suffered a cardiac arrest from fright. Physical skills directly attack the soul. The stronger the psychological quality of a person, the more restrained he will be by this move. Common people like John were less affected. What an astonishing look. Kid, tell me your name. Creek pretended to be calm, but the unstoppable cold sweat on his forehead revealed the fear in his heart at this time. Although I was scared to death. But as the overlord of East Blue, he still needs to save face. At least not to run away in despair, but to say harsh words to fight another day. Nka said expressionlessly. Seeing that the pirates were frightened by him, he was relieved. It would undoubtedly be best if this incident could be solved without bloodshed. Nka, I have a stomachache today, let's fight another day. Creek snorted coldly, as if he wanted to spare the other person's life. Only, because his legs were so frightened that this guy was about to turn around, he stumbled and knelt on the ground. Kneel down on your knees, and still kneel Nka. You are so polite, but you are giving such a big courtesy when you meet for the first time. Although he knew that the other party was a fierce and evil paper tiger, and Ka obviously didn't expect that the other party would be so cowardly. By the way, is my look really scary? Feeling the weird looks from everyone, Creek's face turned red and he instantly became angry from embarrassment. His extremely arrogant character allowed him to briefly overcome his fear while being dizzy with anger. They shouted loudly, "Kill them for Lousy. Whoever dares to stop moving forward, Lousy will kill you." However, there are hundreds of pirates. At this time, no one dared to move because of Nka's eyes. No one dared to look at him. Wherever he looked, the pirates lowered their heads one after another. The other party's expression didn't change at all from the beginning to the end. It's obvious that little characters like us can't catch his eye at all. Retreat before the opponent starts a killing spree. Captain, this time we hit an iron plate. Ghost Man Agent warned. He was the only one who dared to persuade Crick. The stronger the psychological quality, the stronger the sense of oppression he endures. The sense of oppression Agent endured far exceeded that of Crick, but his performance was not as unbearable as Crick. The crew is stronger than the captain, which is really contrary to Tiangong. Stop talking. Bang bang bang. Crick roared and shot several of his men. He didn't have the courage to shoot at Nka, but it was more than enough to kill a few of his subordinates in such a dangerous situation. Come on, come on. Under the threat of death, the pirates overcame the fear in their hearts and began to charge bravely. Boom, 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 boom. The deafening drum beat sounded like thunder. The footsteps of the swarming pirates stopped abruptly. Each one of them seemed to have been cast a body-holding spell, their bodies frozen in place. What's the situation? The hair on his body suddenly exploded at the news. I braved the courage to look up and immediately met Nka's cold face without any expression, and his eyes as if looking at a dead person. In an instant, Creek fell into an ice cave. A chill rose from the soles of the feet and went straight to the Tianling cap. Dead. This was the only thought in his mind. As everyone knows, at this time Nka saw the scene of Crick's murder. The heart beats wildly, and the imperial engine emits a deafening sound. The expressionless face is due to facial paralysis, and he will not show it even if he is extremely scared. He stood still and faced the pirates without changing his expression, simply because he was too frightened to move. As a good student, when had he ever seen such a bloody scene? The anger in my heart immediately turned into fear. 3. When did I become so awesome? New book request. Advertise here. The drum sound comes from Nka. Captain, look at his expression, he's still so contemptuous, he doesn't take us seriously at all. Maybe he's already in combat mode now. It's too late if you don't run. Agent bit his tongue, used the pain to overcome his fear, and forcefully carried Creek, who was kneeling on the ground and paralyzed with fear, and turned around and ran away. The remaining pirates dispersed in a hurry. The civilians who survived the disaster chanted Nka's name. All this was recorded by the news bird in the sky using a phone bug. Comma. Dong dong dong. The deafening imperial engine finally died down. Nka's little heart calmed down. Good guys, both sides are scared. He finally breathed a sigh of relief as he watched the ruined Creek pirates escape. It seems that I have found an incredible way to open it. Although these talents and skills are awesome, they can still scare people. Is my strength all based on the enemy's imagination? Nka, how did you do that? Some villagers shouted in admiration. Nka, what to do? Defeat East Blue Overlord Creek. The villager shouted fervently. Nka, did your eye see me defeat him? Obviously I haven't moved at all. But since he has decided to play tricks on others, Nka will definitely not destroy his strong persona. A mere Crick doesn't even have the strength to bear my breath. Just the exchange of glances scared me to my knees. I am the emperor who ate the emperor fruit. The sound just now is my emperor engine, which means that I have entered a fighting state. If Crick hadn't run so fast, I would have killed him by now. So he said. The stern face and sharp eyes all show the demeanor of a strong man. Devil fruit. I didn't expect Nka to be the legendary demon fruit power. Emperor. He really looks like an indifferent emperor. No wonder my legs feel weak when I see his eyes. Of course, we are all ordinary people, how can we be qualified to look at the emperor? Nka, this is so handsome. This kid just needs to be young. Nka, Nka. The villagers immediately chanted Nka's name enthusiastically. With all the talk, a village emperor was crowned. Eileen's eyes were full of love and affection, and she was completely smitten. If she is an emperor, then isn't she a queen? Ahem. Nka, you must go to sea. After defeating Creek, the overlord of East Blue, you have become the new overlord of East Blue. If you stay here, a steady stream of challengers will destroy this island. And you should go to a wider world. John, who was rescued, severely ruined everyone's happiness. Some driving words came out of his mouth. He also wanted to save his daughter. Otherwise, with such a big body of 3 meters, Nka would not be able to stab his only daughter to death. The emperor is going to sea. Let's get him a magnificent pirate ship. I have food stored at home, I will move it here right away. Let me design the pirate flag. How about a skull with a crown? The imperial pirates. His grandma, Lousy doesn't want his fishing boat anymore, hang the pirate flag. The villagers were very busy. Then, the confused Nka got his own pirate ship, the pirate flag, and went to sea. And Ka, wait until you come back to marry me. Ellie stood on the beach and shouted reluctantly. The girl's delicate and youthful face and playful little floral dress matched the beautiful beach, forming a beautiful scenery. When I get the big secret treasure and become the pirate king, I will come back and marry you. And Ka stood at the stern of the boat, holding his hands in the shape of a loudspeaker and shouting loudly. Although I don't know what happened. Defeated Crick in a daze. In a daze, he set sail and became a pirate. Inexplicably, she acquired the fetters of love and became the hope of the whole village. In this case, let's just fight for the throne of One Piece. The emotions have been brewing up to this point. If I don't have high ambitions, it will be a bit unreasonable. New World. World Economic News. A reporter was excitedly holding a photo of Anka that scared Crick to his knees. Big news, big news. President, East Blue Overlord Creek was defeated by a 17-year-old boy. This is the photo of the teenager that Newsbird took. Etc. The reporter's voice suddenly stopped as if someone had strangled his neck. This made Morgans, who had already been interested, very unhappy. When did you learn to tell the truth? He snatched the photo away. The next moment, Morgan's voice suddenly stopped as if someone was strangling him. In the photo, the embarrassed Crick is kneeling on his knees, while the boy holding the girl is dismissive of him, his sharp eyes piercing his soul. Just one glance and Morgans felt like he was struck by lightning. One more look and you'll explode. Brush. He threw the photo away suddenly and gasped for breath. But after the scare, Morgan's eyes shone with excitement. What a ruthless character. Just the photos, there is such a horrible sense of oppression. It's unimaginable how terrifying it would be to face this guy and look him in the eye. The sea is going to change. Even if Linlin casts the soul spell, there is no such terrifying sense of oppression. Build momentum for him. This will be the biggest news selling point of the century. Ha 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 ha. Morgans laughed heartily. He could already predict that this young man would turn the sea upside down. At the same time, his newspaper will completely sell out. Morgans also has a little bit of evil in his heart. I can be scared by this photo. How will the heroes and heroines on the sea react when they see this photo? Yes, President. The reporter picked up the photo tremblingly, but did not dare to look at it again. His legs are still weak. 10 minutes later, a stack of information was placed in front of Morgans, which recorded Anka's life. It also includes information about the one-man Emperor pirates who have just been at sea for 2 days. Orphan. A refugee Anka. Paramesha Emperor fruit power user. Captain of the Imperial Pirates. This is another dark horse from East Blue after Roger, becoming Roger. No, he may not be able to surpass Roger. Emperor Anka. Just write it. The wings flapped heavily on the table, and Morgans roared with crazy excitement. Anka. When did I become so awesome? For how did he become famous all over the world? New book request for Wawa. Advertise here. East Blue Super Rookie Pirate. Has the potential to surpass Roger, the Pirate King. No one could meet his eyes. Emperor Anka. Close double angle bracket. The next day, the gimmicky newspaper became popular all over the world. With the support of Morgans, the name of the Emperor is like a prairie fire. There was even a staring at the Emperor challenge. The person who looks at Anka's photo the longest wins. You will receive a free bonus. Many people who don't believe in evil were dumbfounded the first time they saw Anka's photo. What kind of fairy character is this? Just the look in your eyes can be so devastating. Anyone who dares to look at him is simply the most ruthless person among ruthless people. New World. Moby Dick. At this time, the Whitebeard pirates were extremely lively. Everyone is taking the staring at the Emperor challenge, which is now popular all over the sea. Captain Marco has been holding on for a minute. He is so powerful that he deserves to be the captain of the first team. Captain Chao Zi has also persisted for a minute. Our third division is a combat division, so the captain is naturally strong. Oops, Captain Beasta is defeated. The pirate soldiers were noisy and screamed around a few big shots. I saw several captains of the Whitebeard pirates staring at Anka's photos. Even though the boy in the photo is hugging the girl, confronting the pirate, and casually glancing at the news bird in the sky. But it still takes a lot of courage to look into his eyes. The back of Beasta, the captain of the 5th division and the strongest swordsman of the Whitebeard pirates, was soaked with cold sweat. He dropped the newspaper in despair and collapsed on the ground. I can't look at him anymore, that will cause irreparable damage to my swordsman's heart. Beasta said with lingering fear. Directly hitting the soul, the stronger the psychological quality, the greater the pressure a person will feel when facing Anka's gaze. At their level, the pressure they endure is unimaginably terrifying. If you insist on forcefully, you may even destroy your mentality, and you will no longer be able to be a strong person in mind, body and skills. Hiss. There was a gasp of air all around. Everyone was surprised that Beasta could look directly at the Emperor for 1 minute. Even more surprised by the exaggerated power of that terrifying gaze. Just looking at each other can destroy the swordsman's heart of a great swordsman. Simply outrageous. Look, Captain Marco and Captain Josie are also defeated. One of the pirates exclaimed. Everyone looked around and saw Marco Josie, who was wet with cold sweat and was sitting on the ground with a scared look on his face. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Record breaking. At the same time, some pirate soldiers shouted loudly. Everyone cheered immediately, and even Marco and Chaozi showed happy smiles. This result is already very pervert. Ordinary people can't even hold on for a second. What are you making all the noise about? The movement here disturbed Whitebeard. He was sitting on a chair, enjoying the service of a beautiful nurse in leopard print leather pants, and scolded him dissatisfied. Dad, there is a great guy. East Blue's newcomer, Emperor and Ka. It is said that no one can look into his eyes without being indifferent. The Hot Seas Staring King Challenge is a competition to see who can look at him longer. Chaozi and I only lasted 1 minute and 30 seconds. Dad, please take a look. Marco got up from the ground, took the newspaper and walked over. Because his hands and feet were weak, he staggered a few times and almost fell. TCH, he's just a newcomer. Whitebeard snorted and took the newspaper disdainfully. Next moment, his pupils suddenly contracted. Dad, please relax, your muscles are too tight and you can't even insert the needle. The beautiful nurse complained bitterly. She was busy giving Whitebeard an infusion. But because Whitebeard is now in a state of high tension, his whole body is tense and his muscles are so stiff that the needle cannot be inserted at all. What a dirty thing. Whitebeard threw the newspaper away. Then he unceremoniously gave Marco 2 big bids. I wonder if I'm old, Dad. Why do you give me such a thrill? You traitor. After the 2 big bidu knocked the man Marco hit off his back, Whitebeard felt much better. That damn oppressive feeling, it almost gave him a heart attack. It's unimaginable how a newcomer's gaze could be so sharp, piercing the soul. It's incredible. What an incredible kid. I'm waiting for him in the new world. For a time Whitebeard was also very interested in Nka. It makes me feel comfortable to think about accepting such a rising star with unlimited potential as my son. It is really a beautiful thing. Except for the Whitebeard pirates, Big Mom, Kaido, Red Hair, Hawkeye and other big bosses all reacted very differently. This is the first time many of them have felt fear since childhood. Even Roger, the former pirate king, never had this sense of oppression. For a time, Emperor Anka's name and prestige were at the sky's peak, and he was known as the strongest newcomer in history. Marineford, the highest level conference hall. There was wine and meat, and the generals from all sides gathered together. Branu, the king of meetings, who got promoted and made a fortune by holding meetings, stood on the high platform. Behind him is the standard large blackboard. The world is changing, but the king of meetings is still the king of meetings. The quality of this year's new pirates is surprisingly high. The rise of these people's momentum is unstoppable, and this department will take them with the highest degree of attention. Be sure to extinguish the flames of sin. First of all, Portkas, D. Ace. The Logia Mera Mera fruit ability user has extremely powerful destructive power. The branch alone cannot fight against him. At only 17 years old, he defeated several branches and became unstoppable in East Blue. The reward offered by this department is 50 million Baileys. A photo of a smiling sunshine boy was taken by Branu on the blackboard. It's a super newcomer, Ace. Next, Jack, also 17 years old, a member of Beast's Pirates, a user with the ability to grow mammoth fruit in ancient times. Everywhere it passed, the land felt like it was experiencing a drought, and its destructive power was no less powerful than Ace's. The reward offered by this department is 40 million Baileys. Another photo of a fierce and silly man wearing an iron mask was taken on the blackboard. Iron-headed boy, Jack. Here comes the real highlight. Everyone, please be ready. Branu carefully took out a photo, hung it on the blackboard, and covered Ace Jack's photo. The young man in the picture had sharp eyes, and wherever he looked, Marines lowered their heads, not daring to look directly at him. Emperor and Ka, the same 17-year-old boy. As you can see, no one can look him in the eye and remain indifferent. Even Admiral got a sense of crisis from this photo. He is the most threatening rookie in history. He became famous all over the world just after his debut. It is said that just by looking at him, he can kill the East Blue Overlord Creek with a bounty of 17 million belly in an instant. Has the potential to surpass Roger, the Pirate King. The reward offered by this department is 100 million Baileys. 5. Pick up a Fire Fist Ace at the beginning. Advertise here. These 3 extremely vicious newcomers are all rising stars with bounties exceeding 10 million belly for the first time. Especially Emperor and Ka, please inform me that after the Marines discover him, they cannot attack without permission and must first ask for instructions from the headquarters. After weighing the pros and cons, this department will decide whether to declare war on it. Okay, let's start printing these 3 reward orders. Branu waved his hand, and the meeting ended successfully. Bounty of 50 million Baileys, Fire Fist Ace. Bounty of 40 million Baileys, Jack the Drow. The bounty is 100 million belly, the Emperor and Ka. 3 new bounty tickets appear in the sea, East Blue. On a small fishing boat. What should I eat tonight? And Ka lay on the deck and basked in the sun leisurely. The boat drifted aimlessly on the sea. It was also his first time to go to sea and he didn't understand anything. But it doesn't matter. Isn't this how Roger Luffy always came here for the first time? Rush with your eyes closed. Just leave the rest to fate. Eat fish. It is urgent to find a navigator and helmsman. And Ka frowned slightly and sat up a little bored. As a captain, Naturally you can't row and steer by yourself, that would be downgraded. And Ka still doesn't know it now, but he has become a man of the hour on the sea. I just marveled at the vastness of the sea and drifted aimlessly for 3 days without seeing a single island or ship. The sea is too big. Bang. Just as he was about to grill the fish, a figure fell from the sky and hit the deck. What's the situation? And Ka was startled and quickly went over to check. As expected, a big hole was made in the deck. A muscular and powerful arm stretched out, and the sunny Madara boy climbed up from the pit with a silly smile. Sorry, your deck was damaged. Hey, this little thing is quite polite. Isn't this Amazi? His eyes lit up. He had just gone to sea. What was the first step? They must be looking for crew members. Isn't this Amazi in front of me ready-made? Although he is a bit silly, he is very powerful. With him, your safety is guaranteed. Come aboard my ship and you will be mine. Welcome to the Emperor Pirates. I am the captain of the Emperor Pirates, and Ka. And Ka hugged Ace and laughed. Roger picked up Rayleigh, Luffy picked up Zoro, and he was able to pick up Ace just after he went out to sea. This comparison is no less impressive. What? Ace was confused. Why did he become the other party's crew member? Who's on board his ship? Are you still welcome to join? There is absolutely no reason to refute it. This nonsensical invitation perfectly restrains an idiot like Ace. He looked at Nka's sharp gaze and couldn't bear it and quickly looked away. Oops, I can't say no at all. For a moment, Ace could only reluctantly accept the reality that he had become a crew member of the Emperor Pirates. Captain, how many people are there in our pirate group now? Ace dusted himself off and asked. Hearing this, Nka smiled slightly. His stern face, sharp eyes, and confident posture all showed the demeanor of a strong man. I just have to write the words, I am awesome, on my face. You and I are better than thousands of troops. The corners of her mouth raised confidently, and she spoke extremely boldly. At this moment, a domineering aura rose up in him. Even Ace was subdued. This man is indeed qualified to be his captain. So there are only 2 of us. It's not that Ace is deliberately trying to spoil the fun. No matter how nice the words are, he is still a polished commander. Ahem, you are being superficial. No matter how many soldiers and horses there are, can they be as good as the 2 of us? The pretense was exposed, but Nka remained unmoved. His words were filled with contempt for Hawkeye, who treated thousands of troops as if they were nothing. Okay, but I have a pirate group, a pretty good ship, a chef, a navigator, and a helmsman. They'll be here soon. These can be used as the starting capital for our pirate group. Ace is a bit desperate. Why is there someone less reliable than me? It would be unlucky for you to end up with a captain like this. Okay, and Ka nodded excitedly. I picked up an ace and married a member of the Spades Pirates. His imperial pirates can just take off. This is so lucky. Next, Ka and Ace started grilling fish. Ace's Spade Pirates also came quickly. Damn captain, you have to catch some bird when everything is fine. I'm so lucky that I didn't fall into the sea. Deus, the vice captain of the Spade Pirates, complained. This big-hearted fool captain is really not easy to worry about. If you catch a bird, just catch it. It's not enough to hit the bird with flame bullets. You have to spray flames to catch up. Compared with birds, how can it be possible to fly better than a bird with long wings? Come back quickly, little brother, our idiot captain has caused you trouble. Deus jumped onto Anka's small fishing boat and spoke very apologetically. But the moment he saw Nka's face, he instantly turned to stone. Nka. Emperor Nka. Ace, stay away from him, that's a murderer whose first bounty was as high as 100 million belly. Before he could say anything more, Deuce grabbed Ace, who was still feasting on grilled fish, turned around and ran away. Nka looked over with doubtful eyes. In an instant, Deus seemed to have been cast a body-holding spell. Damn it, this damn oppressive feeling, my body doesn't obey its orders. Move quickly, these 2 unworthy legs. The man with a bounty of 100 million Baileys is really terrifying. Deus shouted anxiously and tried his best to control his body and escape. But under the ultimate sense of oppression, he was so frightened that he could not move his legs to escape. Captain Ace, Vice Captain Deus, we are here to rescue you. Seeing that the situation was not going well, the crew members of the Spade Pirates swarmed over. But just a confused look from Nka made everyone come to an abrupt halt, standing still, unable to move forward even half a step. The feeling of oppression is too strong. Emperor Nka, bounty of 100 million belly. Are you talking about this idiot? Ace, who had just finished eating grilled fish, was confused. What is this? 6 No, don't pretend to be cool with me. Advertise here. Hey, Captain. Ace looked at Nka in disbelief. He couldn't believe it. The impoverished and polished commander in front of him will become a great pirate with a bounty of 100 million belly. This shabby little fishing boat. The only crew member is still myself, who was just picked up. No matter how you look at it, it has nothing to do with the big pirate with a bounty of 100 million belly. But that was it. Time seems to be frozen at this moment. A life or death crisis stirred Ace's mind. He detected that his master was in danger, and Conqueror's Hawkeye automatically broke out. Buzz. A powerful invisible aura swept across the entire venue. The members of the Spade Pirates, who were originally frightened by Anka, fell down like wheat. And Ka's sense of oppression is too strong. Under such strong pressure, Ace's potential exploded, and Conqueror's haki poured out uncontrollably. Physical skills. Direct attack on the soul. The stronger the psychological quality, the stronger the sense of oppression. Ace grew up under Garp's iron fist of love, and coupled with his carefree personality, his psychological quality is surprisingly strong. I guess even this fool wouldn't be too surprised when Roger resurrected and appeared in front of him. He should eat and drink as he should. But it is precisely this weak psychological quality that allows Ace to endure unimaginable oppression. Those abyss-like eyes seem to swallow up his soul. What's the situation? At the same time, a series of big question marks appeared above Ka's head. He had not yet recovered from what Deus had said. Emperor Ka, a bounty of 100 million Baileys. When did I become so powerful? It's obvious that I've only been at sea for 3 days, and I haven't even encountered any enemies. And there is. Why is Ace so angry? Open Conqueror's haki randomly to stun your teammates. Do you know how to play it? Fortunately, I have Conqueror's haki. Specially designed to prevent others from being shocked and suppressed by Conquerors, otherwise they would be on the back burner now. Captain, look away. Ace's anxious roar brought Ka back from his thoughts. It turns out that Ace looked directly at Ka, and under the strong pressure, Conqueror's haki broke out. But because of the overlord arrogance, he could not lower his head and accept Ka's gaze. So I fell into a situation that I couldn't control. It's clear that I can't bear it, but I'm still unwilling to give in. Donkey Ace can't hold it any longer. Oh. And Ka, who was a little scared, quickly averted his eyes. Ace's current state was really scary. He was afraid that if he looked at Ace one more time, he would explode. Veins popped out on his forehead, his whole body was wet with cold sweat, and Ace, who was out of breath, smiled a little bitterly. I now believe that you are a great pirate with a bounty of 100 million Baileys, Captain. This was the first time he had suffered a setback since going to sea. As a Logia user who is invincible in East Blue, he deeply feels his own insignificance. The world shouldn't be so big. He couldn't even bear a look from the other party. Speaking of which, let's wake up your men first. And Ka spread his hands, flew to the ship of the Spade Pirates, and began to visit his new ship. The members of the Spade Pirates were also roughly thrown onto the deck by Ace. Everyone was knocked awake on the spot. Ace, are you okay? That guy killed us. The moment Deus woke up, he pulled Ace and prepared to run. First he was so scared that he couldn't move, and then he was stunned by Ace Conquerors. Now Deus can no longer resist at all. Emperor Ka, that is a super newcomer that even Marine needs to consider the pros and cons before deciding whether to go to war. That is simply not something they can defeat. Don't worry, everyone, I have joined Ka's Imperial Pirates, and he is now everyone's captain. Ace smiled to reassure everyone. Hearing this shocking news, everyone in the Spade Pirates' jaws dropped to the ground in shock. No, is it so outrageous? That kind of being could actually become their captain. Ace would actually surrender to others. It was just a matter of catching a bird. Why would such outrageous thing happen? It took them a long time to accept this fact. Anyway, their thighs are thicker now. Captain, times N. Everyone cheered in unison. The strong will be respected wherever they are. Fool Ace finally did the right thing and found such a thick thigh. After following the emperor, they can call themselves ministers. The king's ministers, why should you be afraid of others? Young ladies, we are having a party to celebrate my captain joining the pirate group. And Ka also led everyone to start the carnival on the spot. After a brief contact, everyone discovered that this young man with a strong sense of oppression turned out to be an approachable and warm-hearted person. The contrast is simply not too great. Although his face was still expressionless and his eyes were sharp. Change the pirate flag quickly. The pirates merrily replaced the hat and skull flag with the crown and skull flag. The Emperor Pirates set sail, with Deus as the navigator, and Ka is no longer a confused duck wandering around. The pirate ship sails straight to Logue Town and must climb the upside-down mountain to enter the Grand Line. A week passed like this. A sunny morning. Captain, what's wrong? Shichibukai Hawkeye Mahawk is stopping in front, saying he wants to see you. Deus broke into the captain's cabin in panic. And Ka, who was playing chess with Ace, felt his heart skip a beat when he heard this. I knock. Why is this guy Hawkeye looking for me? You're not here for a challenge, are you? Although I have a bounty of 100 million belly and am nicknamed the Emperor, it is useless and I am just a paper tiger. If he challenges himself, wouldn't it be the end? I'll go out and take a look. You definitely can't escape by hiding. And Ka stood up heartbroken and walked out expressionlessly. But when this scene fell into the eyes of Ace Deus, it changed its taste. Deus. As expected of a captain, he can face the world's greatest swordsman without changing his expression. Ace. This era belongs to Ka. I want to support him to become the king. Ahem, Mahawk, what are you doing? And Ka stood on the bow of the ship and said forcefully. If he hadn't been paralyzed, his expression at this moment would have been wonderful. I'm almost scared to death. If you cut it with this knife, there is no way to survive. All the crew members. As expected of the captain. You must not be a coward to Hawkeye. Come over here, Hawkeye, and watch our captain chop off your head. Anka, no, don't pretend to be cool with me. 7 Another great swordsman in the world. Advertise here. Unfathomable. Coffin boat. The sharp eyes of the eagle are full of fear. Because Nka has the turtle card conquerors, isolate observation Haki from exploration. Just seeing, hearing, and coloring could not test the depth of Anka, so Hawkeye immediately labeled him a super strong man. Even observation Haki can't sense his aura. Could it be that this guy, like the red hair, has already understood the knowledge of killing by sight? Hawkeye, who was already cautious, became even more cautious. He clenched the sword in his hand, as if he heard Black Blade Yi's cheers. What a powerful opponent. My sword and I are both excited. The sharp eyes of the eagle eye met Nka's eyes, the needle pointed at the wheat light. Ultimate's fierce confrontation made the air seem to freeze. Appeared. The man called Eagle Eye has a pair of eyes as sharp as an eagle. Even the strongest warrior can't help but shudder, so he is called Eagle Eye. But each mountain is higher than the other. In front of him is the Emperor with the vision of the Emperor. Obviously our captain is better. The crew members of the Imperial pirates discussed loudly, and everyone regarded Nka as their pride. In the eyes of everyone, 2 top powerhouses with sharp eyes are engaged in a fierce confrontation. And Nka still has the upper hand. The killing Hawkeye is retreating steadily. It is precisely because of the crew's ardent expectations that Nka is in a dilemma and cannot get off. Gone. I'm scared to death. Stop bragging about me. At this time, Nka was about to cry without tears. If it were not for his facial paralysis, he would have burst into tears. He has only been at sea for 10 days. Didn't even participate in a battle. Why is there such an old monster as Hawkeye in Novice Village? This is too complex. The character cannot be destroyed. The character cannot be destroyed. Nka is already lucky that he has facial paralysis at this time, otherwise his poor acting skills will be revealed in minutes. The expressionless face is due to facial paralysis. Calm and confident, he refused to give in because he was too frightened to move. In the eyes of everyone, he has become calm when facing Hawkeye. Looking directly at you, the feeling of oppression is far stronger than what is shown in the newspaper. Come and fight. You make me want to draw the sword. Hawkeye, who has lost count of how long it has been since he was so excited, pointed his black knife at Nka. His boring time finally had a little more fun. And Nka is so scared that his brain is almost shutting down. What to do? What to do? Boom, boom, boom. The deafening sound of the Imperial engine. The pirates are in carnival again. It's the Imperial engine. The boss has entered combat mode. Hawkeye is dead. Stop adding fuel to the fire. Nka's heart was gray. He steeled himself and managed to say something coherent. I'm not interested in swordsmen, but I need a swordsman on my ship. But in everyone's perspective, with a cold face and sharp eyes, Hawkeye is full of the style of the strongest. That kind of confident and free look, full of charisma. Coupled with the terrifying sense of oppression and the extremely shocking Emperor engine, it is simply not too majestic. I'm not interested in swordsmen, but I need a swordsman on my ship. This sentence is so cool. Hawkeye narrowed his eyes slightly and lowered his head unconsciously, finally losing in this eye-to-eye confrontation. He lost. As proud as he is. I have to admit it. He was defeated by that gaze that struck his soul. It was a complete defeat. I don't even have the courage to look Nka in the eye. Poor Mihawk still doesn't know that his own eyes can only intimidate, while the other person's eyes can cause magic damage mixed with real damage. Let me take on the position of swordsman of the Emperor Pirates. Since you are not interested in swordsmen, if you encounter swordsman enemies in the future, leave it to me to deal with them. The black sword slowly returned to its sheath, and Hawkeye actually agreed to Nka's invitation. In his opinion, he has been defeated. Lost in the competition of momentum. The opponent can suppress him severely with just his eyes. He is definitely a peak powerhouse with full mental and physical skills. It is natural to join the other party's pirate group. Exclamations kept coming. Everyone was shocked. Not a single soldier, not a move, just a look. Defeat the world's greatest swordsman. Return. Have. Who? Everyone's hearts are filled with carnival. That man was simply terrifying. What a powerful man. I have expected countless endings, but I never thought he would deal with it so easily. Conquering the world's greatest swordsman is as simple and commonplace to him as buying groceries. Ace was deeply shocked. That domineering and oppressive figure became his belief at this moment. What a hockey, what a big heart. Quote question mark question mark question mark question mark quote. Confused Nka is very confused. He was just trying to invite. I said that just to improve my skills. No, you really agreed. What happened? I picked up another world's greatest swordsman. A big headwind makes an instant comeback. Such a tailwind. Okay, kids, let's continue sailing. This result was simply unlucky. Nka was already happy in her heart, but on the surface she was expressionless, neither sad nor happy. An air of superiority. It seemed that the addition of the world's greatest swordsman was of no consequence to him. Pretending. Too pretentious. Yes, Captain. Everyone cheered and beat gongs and drums to celebrate Hawkeye's joining, and the pirate ship continued to set sail for Logue Town. But little did they know. All this was recorded again by the news bird in the sky. New world. World Economic News Service. What? Morgan's shocked voice echoed throughout heaven and earth. Emperor and Ka effortlessly defeated Fire Fist Ace and his pirate group. And have a fierce battle with the world's greatest swordsman, Hawkeye. Defeat the world's greatest swordsman, Hawkeye, and convince him to join the Emperor Pirates and become a swordsman of the Emperor Pirates. After checking a few times, Morgan's face was full of, "Are you kidding me?" expression. It's already incredible that the Logia user Ace would be frustrated before New World. It's even more unbelievable that the world's greatest swordsman can fall into a fight with East Blue. But news birds don't lie. And this little thing seems to have been photographed. Got a photo? Show it to me. Morgans eagerly took a few photos from Newsbird and started looking through them. The first one. Ace casts Conqueror's Haki, but Anka is unmoved at all. The second picture. Hawkeye and Anka had a fierce exchange of looks, and finally ended with Hawkeye bowing his head and admitting defeat. The third picture. Anka Hawkeye Ace is happily eating grilled fish on the deck of the pirate ship. Big news. Big news. To be honest, Morgans almost shocked everyone into being stupid. One Piece Roger didn't have such a big reputation when he went to sea. Tomorrow's news will definitely sell out. 8 big bosses from all sides are stupid. The strongest newcomer in 800 years. Praise him for me. Emperor and Ka, the strongest newcomer in 800 years. Except for the position of Pirate King, I will not take anything seriously. Shichibukai, 4 emperors, prepare to welcome the wave of the new era. Emperor and Ka marches into the grand line. Just write it to me. Talk about exciting. Morgan stepped on the table, laughed like a maniac, and directed the reporters to write hard. This and Ka is really too exaggerated. The pirate group lacks swordsmen, so they directly find the world's greatest swordsman to be the swordsman. The strongest newcomer in 800 years. No doubt about it. Now Anka is a cash cow for Morgans, and information about him will sell out immediately. A proper traffic password. Morgans estimates that the revelation of this information will bring him at least several billion Baileys in profits. Shock. Emperor and Ka was unstoppable, defeating Fire Fist Ace and Hawkeye Mahawk. Close double angle bracket. Shock. The Emperor Pirates added another right-hand man. Fire Fist Ace Hawkeye Mahawk joined the Emperor Pirates and chose to support Anka to become the king. Close double angle bracket. Notice. Notice. The strongest newcomer in 800 years goes to sea. Close double angle bracket. Shock. The world's greatest swordsman was impressed by the Emperor's unparalleled temperament. Close double angle bracket. The next day, newspapers of this type are flying everywhere. The silly Morgans are making a lot of money again. These newspapers are absolutely bombshell. The whole pirate world is boiling. New World. Moby Dick. All the members of the Whitebeard pirates looked at the newspaper and were dumbfounded. The world's greatest swordsman, Hawkeye, was impressed by Emperor Anka and joined the Emperor Pirates. What the hell? Captain Emperor and Ka, combatant Firefist Ace, swordsman Mahawk. Is this what a rookie pirate group should have? You can already push any Shichibukai. This newcomer is so terrifying. Dad, look, are you still planning to accept him as your son? Marco handed over the newspaper, looking strange. The greatest swordsman in the world can conquer him. This newcomer's level is already on par with 4 emperors. It is definitely impossible to be inferior to others. He wants to persuade his father to give up his unrealistic thoughts. Quote. Whitebeard was silent after reading this newspaper. Are you sure this newspaper is not fake? Whose spoof newspaper is this? La. It seems we are not destined. Whitebeard forced a smile. Now Anka, if he wants to be someone's father, he must first ask if Hawkeye's knife is sharp. His old bones can't withstand the sharpness of an eagle's eye. At the same time, Redverse. Quote. The red-haired Shanks was holding the newspaper, and his expression was exactly the same as that of the subway grandpa. Damn it, did Morgans drink fake wine? My good friend Hawkeye actually joined the pirate group of Newcomer and Ka. That guy has only been out at sea for 10 days. This newspaper is fake. It's definitely fake. The expression on red-haired Shanks' face suddenly became enlightened. He walked towards the red-hair pirates holding the newspaper. Which one of you is responsible for this prank? Anyway, the red-haired man firmly believed that this must be a prank by his naughty cadres. How could something so outrageous happen? Shanks, this is not a prank on our part, this is what really happened. The sea is completely boiling. The strongest newcomer in 800 years, and Ka. Beckman lit a cigarette and shrugged. He has always been calm and reliable, but Beckman's attitude made Shanks' scalp tingle. It cannot be. It's true. Boss, and Ka is too strong. I can't help but worry when I think about Luffy facing such enemies in the future. Lachalu gnawed on the big bone and meat, with a hint of sadness in his eyebrows. Shanks was obviously more worried than he was. Damn it, there's Logia at the beginning, the world's greatest swordsman. Are you sure this newcomer isn't cheating? How to play Luffy? I'm going to meet the 5 elders. After Shanks left these words, he hurriedly left the pirate group. Naval headquarters. The highest level conference room. Branu is still the king of meetings. There is wine and meat. It's still the same group of people as last time. Everyone. The Emperor and Ka is known as the strongest newcomer in 800 years. In just 10 days, defeat Fire Fist Ace and Hawkeye Mahawk. And with his own personality charm, he took the two overlords under his command. The rise of the pirate group is unstoppable. This department gives it the highest level of attention. We will treat the Emperor pirates with caution the same way we treated the four emperors. Meanwhile, Shichibukai Hawkeye Mahawk announced his withdrawal from Shichibukai. Officially joined the Emperor pirates. We also need to restructure his bounty. As the meeting King Branu said, he took out Mahawk's reward order and slapped it on the blackboard. The man in the picture has a hawk-like gaze that is extremely sharp. Although it is not as good as in Ka's imperial vision, it is still full of oppression and makes people shudder. Unthinkable. Such a man would surrender to others. Marine Hunter, the world's greatest swordsman. Mahawk. Possessing swordsmanship that surpasses the four emperors' red-haired shanks. The amount of the reward given by this department is 3.5 billion Baileys. When this amount of money was revealed, all Marines present were not surprised. The greatest swordsman in the world. Worth the price. Kazuzu is Fire Fist Ace. The confirmed owner of Conqueror's Hockey. Has extremely high ceiling and potential, and has joined the Emperor Pirates. He is also a very threatening new pirate. Bounty, 100 million Baileys. Another photo was taken on the blackboard. The scene on the screen is a scene where Ace Amazi is scared out of Conqueror's Hockey by Ka. Hockey's full ace, and the former member of the Spade Pirates who fell to the ground, set off the unmoved Ka even more profound and powerful. Next, this is the price of Ka, the strongest newcomer in history. He has the potential to surpass Roger, the Pirate King. The threat to Marine is no less than that of the New World's Sea Emperor. You can defeat and conquer the world's greatest swordsman at the age of 17. But considering that he has just gone to sea, he has not caused any substantial damage or threat. The reward amount given by this department is 2.1 billion Baileys. Emperor and Ka's handsome high-definition photo was taken on a blackboard. This time, the Marines who had been prepared raised their heads in advance to avoid the Emperor's gaze. Just one photo made all the senior Marine officials bow their heads. This is the appearance of the Emperor. 9. The whole world is bragging about me, but I'm really just a rookie. Advertise here. It's today's newspaper. On board the Emperor Pirates. Deus bought a newspaper from Newsbird, held it up and shouted excitedly. Although newspapers are not that expensive these days. But the owner of the newspaper, Kakuzu, is their captain, so the money spent is not unfair. Let me see it. Let me see it. Ace was the first to rush forward. The headline in the newspaper must be the captain again. After all, we just did such a big thing yesterday. The members of the Imperial Pirates also put down what they were doing and gathered around. Suddenly, Deus exclaimed, "It's a brand new reward order. The captain's reward must have increased again." When he heard that it was a reward order, even the cold eagle eye was very interested and listened carefully to what was going on here. He was also curious about how Marine would define Ka, the man he recognized. The reward order was originally intended to deter pirates. But Marine is so useless. The rampant pirates even caused a bad habit of comparing bounties. In order to increase the bounty, they did everything possible and fell into a certain amount of internal strife, which was playing into Marine's hands. It's my reward order. Ace took out his bounty and cheered immediately after seeing the numbers on it. Great. 100 million Baileys. Now I am also a big pirate with a bounty of over 100 million. Not to mention Ace, who was as happy as a child. Everyone's eyes were fixed on another reward order. The owner of the reward order and Ka has a handsome face, sharp eyes, and a dazzling series of numbers below. 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 billion, 1 billion. The pirates chanted in unison, their voices getting louder and louder, becoming more and more incredible. 2.1 billion reward. A bounty of 2.1 billion Baileys. Are you kidding? The captain seems to have only been at sea for less than half a month. As expected of the captain, he is so handsome. Deus and others were immediately filled with admiration. One or two of them had stars in their eyes. He even burst into tears for no apparent reason because of the success of his pirate career. The captain is so powerful and our crew is so proud. What an exaggeration. After getting the answer he wanted, Hawkeye closed his eyes again and stopped paying attention. This situation was also expected by him. After all, he is an eagle-eyed captain. If the bounty is too low, wouldn't he be ignored? But Deus' next movement attracted Hawkeye's attention again. Original Shichibukai, Mahawk, with a bounty of 3.5 billion belly. Hiss. The sounds of gasps came one after another. This amount. It is no exaggeration to say that he is the first person among the four emperors. But soon, everyone became unbalanced. Why? The bounty on the crew is higher than the captain. It is simply contrary to Tiangong. You damn Marine, if you don't increase captain and cause bounty to 3.6 billion, we will dismantle the naval headquarters. Everyone in the Imperial Pirates roared angrily. Hawkeye's blood boiled. There is a reward on the head. It's such a long-lost feeling. He put his politeness on his face, raised a smile on his lips, and lay down on the recliner to continue resting. A storm that can trap the whole world is coming. And Enka also got his own reward order at this time. Quote question mark 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 quote. Fortunately, he has facial paralysis, otherwise he would never be able to hold on. No. Marine must have been drinking fake wine. He can't even defeat the most ordinary pirates, and even Buggy the Clown can beat him up. 2.1 billion belly bounty. The bounty of 100 Baileys is too much. As expected of a captain, he has become a great pirate with a bounty of 2.1 billion so quickly. The adoring eyes of the younger brothers made Enka feel a little carried away, and at the same time, he felt Ked up again. He finally understood how Buggy was feeling. It's hard to get off the tiger. But, by the way, why did the situation become like this? The strongest newcomer in 800 years. The potential to surpass Roger the Pirate King. Before leaving East Blue, there is a reward of 2.1 billion belly. Each of these titles is more exaggerated than the last, and they are all placed on his head. The whole world is bragging. But the problem is that I am really just a noob. Can anyone tell him what to do next? Look, the boss didn't react at all after seeing his reward order. Of course, it's only 2.1 billion Baileys, and the boss doesn't take it seriously at all. Everything was as expected by the boss. He remained calm even before the collapse of Mount High. The boss is such a stable and reliable man. A younger brother noticed Enka's expression and immediately exclaimed. A group of people immediately pulled Enka and started blowing him. Enka, this damn facial paralysis, he didn't even do anything but was thought so ridiculously by the boys. Please stop thinking about it. Forget it. When things have developed to this point, let's take it one step at a time. There is always a solution to a problem. Anyway, with Ace and Hawkeye protecting him, the enemy probably won't even be able to see his face. Boom. Suddenly there was a loud noise, and the already bumpy pirate ship became even bumpier. The ship's hull shook violently, causing everyone to stumble. Boss, the boat hit something. The helmsman exclaimed. Hearing this, DOC and the others' hearts tightened. They wouldn't have hit a reef. Now we are on the vast sea, with no village in front of us and no store behind us. It would be too troublesome if the boat leaks. Don't worry, it was me you hit. Sorry, I didn't cause any trouble to you. A fat blue man rushed out of the water, wrung out his clothes, and politely apologized to everyone. There are very few people on the sea who don't know the name of this fat blue man. He is a chivalrous and righteous person, and he is called a sea hero. One of Shichibukai, Kai Sha Jinbe. Seeing who was coming, Deus and the other boys' eyes jumped out in shock. In just 1 week, they actually met so many big shots. This is not a dream. 10 Pick up another strongest fishman. Kai Sha Jinbe. Advertise here. Not only everyone was confused, Jinbe was also confused. Be good. What did he see? Super Rookie Fire Fist Ace. Mahawk, the world's greatest swordsman. Where is this place? There are so many experts gathered here. Jinbei's eyes were horrified. Just hit a random ship and bump into so many masters. Too crazy. This is just East Blue. Are you sure it's the weakest East Blue? Hexia Jinbe, what are you doing? As a captain, he must stand up in this situation. He was walking like a tiger, and his sharp and oppressive gaze fell on Jinbe. After looking at each other for a short time, Fatty Lan unconsciously lowered his gaze, not daring to fight again. It just so happened. Several reward notices were blown to Jinbei's eyes. Fire Fist Ace, the bounty is 100 million Baileys. Mahawk, with a bounty of 3.5 billion Baileys. Emperor and Ka, the bounty is 2.1 billion belly. Hiss. Jinbei's pupils were shaking and he took a deep breath. There are so many ruthless characters on a fledgling pirate ship. What a magical lineup this is. Especially in Ka, who only had a reward of 100 million belly a few days ago. Why did the bounty suddenly soar to 2 billion Baileys? Oh my god. This is crazy. How has the world changed in the past few days since he was diving? It seems that I really provoked someone I shouldn't have provoked. I was at fault in this matter. I am willing to apologize. Please tell me what arrangements you have. As long as it's something within my ability, I will never refuse. Jinbei assured, patting his chest. Chivalrous men, dare to act bravely. Hexia Jinbe, you're in trouble if you mess with us. Our imperial pirates have the strongest newcomer in 800 years, and Ka Yamato, the world's greatest swordsman, Hawkeye Mahawk, and Brother Ace, the Logia power user Fire Fist. Shichibukai is just a lackey of the government. How dare you provoke us? A group of boys were shouting crazily. The Emperor Pirates. Captain Anka, Swordsman Hawkeye, Combatant Ace. How did these 3 people come together, and they are all members of the same pirate group? A fine line of cold sweat broke out on Jinbei's forehead. This incident started because of him, how will it end? But no matter what, he will face it head on. Jinbe, the hero of the sea, is worthy of the name of chivalry. Captain, the ship is seriously damaged and I'm afraid it won't be able to sail normally. The helmsman who had already surveyed the situation reported. Jinbe, you are making this difficult for me. And Ka had no expression on his face. His face was so paralyzed that he didn't even frown. But it was also his calmness. It made everyone feel as if they were facing an abyss without waves, and the powerful pressure made their bones shiver. This man is so terrifying. No matter what happened, you couldn't find a trace of panic on his face. As steady as an old dog, as steady as Mount High. Boss is so cool. Kaisha Jinbe, please apologize. If you are sincere, the boss may consider forgiving you. The younger brothers were clamoring as always. The little mouths of these guys are so awesome. And Ka didn't dare to pretend to be too arrogant. But there is no way, the boys are too arrogant. Let it be done as you wish. Jinbe lowered his head, not daring to look at Ka. The man's sharp gaze. As if it turned into substance, Jinbe's skin tingled like a sharp sword. What a sharp gaze. My ship lacks a coxswain. Kaisha Jinbe. NK said coldly. He has never forgotten his original intention. Flirting? No, inviting others to join the pirate group and become your partners. Jinbe is also good. The strongest fighting force in the sea. Now that you have met, you might as well not leave. Oh my god. The boss is inviting Kaisha Jinbe. This is not a dream. Our pirate team is about to have 2 Shichibukai. I heard that Jinbe is a very benevolent knight. The younger brothers cheered as always. Jinbe raised his head and glanced at Nka. The oppressive gaze made his scalp tingle. I wanted to say something, but in the end I didn't say it. Jinbe sighed. As much as I hate to admit it, this is an indisputable fact. He is scared. Facing that sharp and soul-piercing gaze, he was completely intimidated. There was no way to say no. And, next to him, Mihawk is already sharpening his sword. I have 3 conditions. If you can agree to them, I will join the Emperor Pirates. Jinbe lowered his head and pleaded. This can be regarded as his last act of stubbornness, trying to be as face-saving as possible. Okay, you go ahead. Now with the support of Ace and Hawkeye, Ka is getting more and more comfortable at pretending. He even misses the time when he could activate the Emperor's engine at every turn. He was already full of strong aura, but after letting go of his pretense, he became even more powerful. The little brothers who were provoked screamed and cheered again. First, the purpose of my coming to East Blue this time is to check whether Arlong has done anything wrong. After I ask Colonel Mouse, I will come back and join the pirate group. Jinbe knelt on the ground and begged with great sincerity. The reason he came here this time was to check if Arlong had done anything evil. If he hears even a shred of news about Arlong doing evil, he will definitely catch Arlong back. Unless Arlong has colluded with Colonel Mouse, Jinbe is not easy to fool. Okay, but I heard that Colonel Mouse is in cahoots with the pirates, and the snake and the rat are in the same den. If you go ask him, you might as well ask the people under Arlong's rule. And Ka still responded coldly. In this way, Jinbe also breathed a sigh of relief. The most powerful newcomer in 800 years, he seems to be a very nice person, and he seems to be easy to talk to. Second, I belong to the Whitebeard pirates. Please allow me to break up with my father first, and then join the Emperor pirates alone. Jinbe said again, and Ka is not surprised by this. This fat blue guy is inherently benevolent and made a personal decision with Big Mom when he left the Big Mom pirates. And he also cast a soul spell on her. In the end, a wave of wonderful drama was staged. Why should the king be afraid of the mere 4 emperors? It's natural. And Ka nodded. Before entering into a new relationship, you must make a clean break with your ex. He still has a bit of a heart. Jinbe also feels much better about Ka. This man looks cold, but he is surprisingly gentle. He made his last request. Third, please protect the Fishmen Island. Deter those pirates who do evil things, so that they can no longer abduct Fishmen civilians. Of the 3 demands, none of them are for oneself. In the name of Hai Sha, benevolence and righteousness end there. No problem. We have reached the last step, so Ka will naturally not have any objections. Protecting one's own territory is what a separatist overlord should do. Well, Kaisha Jinbe officially joins the Emperor Pirates. As the helmsman. Please give me some time to deal with my affairs before returning to the pirate group. Jinbe bowed deeply and made a solemn declaration. And this scene. It was photographed again by the news bird in the sky. 11 Challenge Whitebeard. Morgans, are you done yet? Advertise here. New World. World Economic News Service. A news bird was squawking while holding a photo, its wings still drawing strokes. It has an exaggerated expression, as if it is describing some earth-shattering event. Birds and flowers. Emperor Ka uses the Emperor's vision to defeat Haisha Jinbe. Birds and flowers. Shichibukai Kaisha Jinbe. Join the Emperor Pirates. What? Morgan's shocked voice echoed throughout the newspaper office. Oh my god. What did he hear? Emperor Ka defeated Shichibukai Kaisha Jinbe. Jinbe joins the Emperor Pirates. That guy is more than just a Shichibukai. He is also a symbol of racial reconciliation and is of great significance to the government. He is also the boss of the Fishmen Island owned by Whitebeard. What are you doing? Declare war on the Whitebeard pirates. That's it. That's it. You actually want to challenge Whitebeard. Ha 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 ha. Interesting. What a domineering man. He is indeed the strongest newcomer in 800 years. After a brief shock, Morgans became excited. He smelled a storm. The era is about to go crazy. As the Emperor of the Sea, Whitebeard faces countless challengers every year. This time is different. Emperor and Ka, the strongest newcomer in 800 years. Fight against the strongest man in the world. Heavyweight. Morgans was so excited that she couldn't control herself and started dancing on the spot. That's what the newspaper wrote for me. The strongest newcomer in 800 years challenges Whitebeard. The Emperor pirates declare war on the Whitebeard pirates. Kaiman Jinbe and the Fishman Island have left the Whitebeard pirates and joined the Emperor pirates. The target of Emperor Anka is the head of the old man for Emperor's Whitebeard. Ha ha ha. As if he was put into the perspective of a super newcomer, Morgans was as excited as if he had drunk fake wine. A group of reporters were all excited and writing furiously. This is big news that shocked the world. Writing about such a big event, they are all full of enthusiasm and motivation. Kai Sha Jinbei announced that he has joined the Emperor Pirates. Close double angle bracket. Emperor and Ka challenges Whitebeard. Close double angle bracket. The Emperor Pirates declare war on the Whitebeard Pirates. Close double angle bracket. The strongest rookie in 800 years vs the strongest man in the world. Close double angle bracket. The next day, newspapers of Emperor and Ka challenging Whitebeard are flying all over the place. The whole world is boiling. The Emperor Pirates, as expected of the boss, is the target directly the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard. The boss will definitely take off old man Whitebeard's head. Enter the four emperors. We may not be able to become the four emperors pirates. The excited shouting of the boys woke Ka from his sleep. What happened? Hey, what are you arguing about? And Ka walked out of the room lazily and looked at everyone speechlessly. It's so noisy so early in the morning, why don't you let people sleep? Look, the boss doesn't care at all. You don't take Whitebeard seriously at all. So handsome, he truly deserves to be the captain. Seeing that Ka was awake, the boys mistakenly thought that Ka was extremely confident and didn't take Whitebeard seriously at all. Just because. Now Ka is as expressionless as ever and his hair is a little messy. Because he hadn't woken up, his sharp eyes looked a little more lazy and looked like disdain. He looked completely indifferent, even contemptuous. Even though the enemy was Whitebeard, it didn't make his mood fluctuate at all. So handsome. The younger brothers are so adoring. Don't you take Whitebeard seriously? What are you talking about? What's going on? And Ka, who had not woken up before, was completely confused now. What? Oh. The boss of a nobody like Whitebeard doesn't remember him anymore. As expected of the boss. So confident. The boys screamed excitedly again. The confused Ka glanced at those newspapers out of the corner of his eye and was immediately dumbfounded. Hiss! Exclamation mark! Declare war with Whitebeard. When did I declare war on Whitebeard? A blockbuster showdown between the strongest newcomer in 800 years and the strongest man in the world. Stop reading the joke. I will be hammered into pieces. Whitebeard's farts can kill me. Boom. The heart beats uncontrollably, and Ka people are already numb. The deafening roar of the imperial engine filled the audience. Oh my god, it's the imperial engine. The boss has entered combat mode. It seems that Whitebeard has made the boss more motivated. Whitebeard is indeed a very strong opponent, but facing the boss, he will only end up defeated. The younger brothers are so enthusiastic that they are as crazy as losing their minds. And Ka was already filled with tears in her heart. This is putting yourself on the fire. What is this World Economic News Agency? After repeatedly confirming the newspaper, and Ka was heartbroken. Finished. Whitebeard must have seen this outrageous newspaper. It is estimated that they have fought all the way here now. But what the hell is this World Economic News Agency? It seems like they are praising themselves every time. The president of World Economic News is the News King Morgans. What's wrong, boss? Is it because of his outstanding performance in spreading your reputation all over the world that you want to praise him? The boys are once again having wild fantasies. As for Ka, the figure of a large albatross appeared in his mind. Morgans. It turns out that this birdman is causing trouble. From Creek, Ace, Hawkeye, and now Whitebeard. Are you King done yet? Praise the other person. Are you kidding me? He really wants to kill this big bird and make soup. 12-4 Emperors level confrontation. Marine on highest alert. Advertise here. Don't worry, boss, we won't hold you back. When you confront Whitebeard, leave the leaders of the Whitebeard pirates to us. Ace has a fire burning in his shoulders and is full of confidence. The current Ace does have the confidence and strength to stand up to the four Emperors' cadre. As a member of Roger's blood, his talent is even more exaggerated than Luffy's. Mastered armament hockey on the first day I came into contact with it from Mahawk. Then quickly mastered observation hockey. And under the supervision of Hawkeye, he can skillfully control the release of Conqueror's hockey. Originally, Hawkeye reluctantly taught Ace hockey at the request of the captain. But this hockey talent simply shocked Hawkeye. 1 day to master armament hockey, 2 days to master observation hockey, and 3 days to master Conqueror's hockey. Are all newcomers today so scary? Oh, it turns out to be the bloodline of Roger, the Pirate King. That's okay. Even Hawkeye is addicted to teaching and tirelessly imparts hockey's experience. And Ace absorbed it greedily like a sponge. In the original storyline. Without a teacher to teach him, Ace learned everything on his own and still fought his way to the new world, unstoppable. Defeating a Shichibukai forces the government to invite him to become a Shichibukai. In the end, after Ace rejected Shichibukai, he had to do the next best thing and ask Da Shang to fill the vacancy. And at the same age as Luffy, he drew with Jinbe Yamato and challenged Whitebeard. This momentum is even stronger than Luffy's, and it is certain that they will go straight to 4 emperors in 2 years' time. It's a pity that Oda didn't allow anyone to be better than Luffy, so he arranged for him to be hastily removed from the production line. Thinking that Ace Jinbe Hawkeye is by his side, and Ka feels a lot more at ease. Okay, I'll leave it to you, Ace, Jinbe, Mihawk. He nodded, managing to calm his heart and let the deafening imperial engine gradually subside. What else could he say? King, against general. I have no choice but to bite the bullet. Well, Whitebeard doesn't seem like the kind of person who would be frightened by his own eyes. Learn. Jinbe, who was sitting on the deck, replied. After crashing in Ka's boat, he summoned dozens of whale sharks to pull the boat. It is indeed the strongest combat force in the sea, so terrifying. He planned to escort Ka and others to the next island safely, and then go to Arlong and Father Whitebeard to make a decision. Hawkeye nodded slightly. Except for Whitebeard, no one else in the Whitebeard pirates can catch his eye. Ace Jinbe Hawkeye. And Ka feels that the winner between Ace Jinbe and Marco Josie is hard to decide. The rest of the Whitebeard pirates couldn't defeat Hawkeye even if they were tied together. I hope Whitebeard will be too old and frail to act rashly. It can only be the Naval Headquarters, Marineford. The highest level conference hall. Branu is still the king of meetings. But there was a different group of people in the audience. Marshal Marine, Sengoku of Buddha. Marine General Staff Officer, Crane. Marine Hero, Garp the Fist. Marine Admiral, Akainu Sakazuki. Marine Admiral, Kizaru Porisalino. Marine Admiral, Aokiji Kuzan. All are heavyweight characters. A group of big guys were listening carefully to the meeting hosted by Branu, which showed that he was the king of meetings. Kai Sha Jinbe breaks away from Shichibukai and officially joins the Emperor Pirates. Based on Jinbe's strength and threat, the department will offer a bounty of 1.1 billion belly. At the same time, the Emperor Pirates announced their protection of the Fishman Island, a subsidiary of the Whitebeard Pirates. The two major forces have officially begun their confrontation. When Branu said this, he paused slightly and couldn't hide his excitement. 4 Emperors-level characters. Any move will attract Marine's great attention. The newspapers flying all over the sky immediately alerted Marine, and almost all the high-end combat forces were summoned to the meeting. Branu waved his hand, and several reward orders were slapped on the blackboard. Emperor and Ka. The bounty is 2.1 billion baileys. 4 Emperors Whitebeard. The bounty is 5 billion baileys. Mihawk. The bounty is 3.5 billion baileys. Appeared. 4 Emperors level confrontation. The Emperor Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates. Emperor and Ka, Hawkeye Mihawk, Whitebeard Newgate, 3 top powerhouses. Their fight could break out anywhere along the Grand Line. During this time, monitor the actions of the Whitebeard Pirates to the maximum extent. Between the two, the Marines along the way are on the highest alert. Try to avoid them as much as possible, just sit on the mountain and watch the fight between tigers and tigers. At the same time, we must increase our vigilance against Kaido to prevent other 4 emperors from taking advantage of the chaos to make any unpredictable moves. Marine was really nervous. Their strength is not enough. Almost all of New World has been lost and has become a paradise for pirates. Now we have to be wary of a Whitebeard who may rush out of the New World at any time to fight with Ka. The strength is not what you want. The arrogant pirates of the Grand Line still need to be suppressed by Akainu. Marinjoa needs Aokiji to take charge. Vegapunk Egg Tip Island also needs the Kizaru Science class to take over. Here at headquarters, Zephyr and I can't get away. Sengoku frowned. Damn it, there is no way to do anything else. A blink of an eye. Sengoku saw Garp picking his nose while doing nothing. Suddenly the anger surged. Why is this old man so relaxed and comfortable? Bastard Garp. That Fire Fist Ace seems to be your grandson. I'll leave this matter to you. If Ka and Whitebeard have too much trouble, let me test it with you. Sengoku roared, changing into a sharp-toothed style, with raging anger rising from his head. He even gave Garp 2 punches. He was hit so hard that several big bumps grew on his head. Okay, since Garp is fully responsible for this matter, you don't have to worry about it, let's go. Crane stood up slowly and left directly. Akainu, Aokiji, Kizaru, everyone ran faster than the other. They haven't finished their work yet, and they don't want to cause trouble again. In a blink of an eye, only Garp was left in the conference room. The confused Lao Deng could only accept his fate. Garp. No, what were you talking about in the meeting just now? 13 Smoker. I seem to see too much milk. Advertise here. It seems like Ace or something. Are you asking me to take care of Ace? Forget it, never mind. Garp scratched his head and left in confusion. Marine's highest level meeting ended successfully. It's true that I felt lonely. Logue Town. Marine Branch. Bulu Bulu. Bulu Bulu. Kaga. Hey, Smoker, right. And Ka of the Imperial Pirates is about to log into Logue Town. Please notify me and give your sailors a 2-day holiday. You don't have to go to work these days. Get out of the limelight. On the other side of the phone, Sengoku's words were simply outrageous. He opened the door for outrageousness. It was so outrageous. Considering that Anka's imperial pirates were too powerful, Sengoku gave an order to all marines, seeing that they did not need to be pursued. Just pretend you didn't see it. If you encounter a stupid young soldier who goes to arrest someone, be sure to hold him back. Don't be impulsive. Quote. Smoker said nothing. He has nothing to say. Kaga, hang up the marshal's phone call. He is truly a marine mad dog who refuses to obey the rules and goes his own way. He even dared to hang up the marshal's phone. Smoker is furious. Marine wants to avoid pirates. What's the point? His grandma's still avoiding the limelight. How arrogant. Emperor and Ka. Smoker, will definitely bring you to justice. Smoker clenched his fists, gritted his teeth and set an ambitious goal in his heart. As a Logia user who is invincible in the Grand Line and the world, he is confident to defeat the so-called Emperor and Ka. Colonel Smoker, do you want a day off? The cute girl Tashigi heard it clearly. Marshal Sengoku ordered them to take a holiday. Quote. Smoker frowned slightly, bit off the cigar in his mouth, and cursed. A holiday. What a holiday. If Nka dares to come, I will arrest him personally. Logue Town has finally arrived. Captain, please repair the ship. I'll go back to East Blue to find Arlong first. Logue Town Port. Jinbe said goodbye rather reluctantly. In addition to the unsmiling Hawkeye, whether it is the carefree ace or the cold-looking Nka who is actually gentle, they all suit his taste. He also liked the atmosphere on the ship. Even more cheerful than the Whitebeard pirates. If everyone has nothing to do, just praise Nka like crazy. To be honest, Jinbe really likes days like this. But there is no such thing as a banquet that lasts forever. The day of separation will eventually come, and when he has dealt with everything, he will be able to fully join the Imperial pirates. Jinbe is also looking forward to that day. Jinbe, take care on the road. Ace and others bid farewell to Jinbe with tears in their eyes. The iceberg god Nka still said, take care, coldly. But everyone thinks of him as a man with a cold face and a kind heart, who is not good at expressing emotions and is the most sincere concern. Captain, he is really, I cry to death. Okay, Deus, you are responsible for repairing the ship and purchasing it. Ace and I will go for a walk. Farewell to Jinbe, and Ka also set off. He also wanted to see the execution platform of the legendary pirate King Roger. Witness this legendary location with your own eyes. Of course, you must bring a bodyguard. Hawkeye was too lazy to move anyway, so he asked him to guard the ship while Ace followed him. Captain, it smells so good over there. I'll go over first. Captain, you can go shopping by yourself first. As soon as I got off the boat, I smelled the aroma of some food, and Ace disappeared in a flash. And Ka was immediately dumbfounded. No, brother, what should I do if you leave? Hiss. As a felon with a bounty of up to 2.1 billion Baileys. Wandering alone on the street or something. I feel so insecure. As the saying goes, children can survive the bustling city with money. The common man is not guilty, but he is guilty of carrying a jade. Under the heavy reward, there must be a brave man. If someone attacks me by then, wouldn't it be the end? Boom, boom, boom. The deafening sound of the Imperial engine. Like dull thunder. What sound? Is it thundering? Like an engine, it's deafening. People on the street looked at the sky in confusion. There are no dark clouds here. Where did the thunder come from? Look, it's the Emperor and Ka with a bounty of 2.1 billion belly. Could this sound be his Imperial engine? It is said that the Imperial engine means that he has entered a state of combat. Run quickly, this guy is ready to kill. Someone with sharp eyes noticed Nka's figure and immediately ran away screaming and pissing. Nka is 3 meters tall, with a slender and muscular body, full of powerful muscles, and a cold face with sharp eyes, full of the oppression of a strong man. It has the words, I am awesome, written all over my face. It's so conspicuous that it's hard for everyone not to notice him. Run. The lively streets suddenly buzzed with excitement, people dispersed in a rush, and the whole world suddenly became deserted. An embarrassed Nka was left standing in the street in a mess. Quote. Why did everyone run away? Yes, I am now a vicious criminal with a bounty of 2.1 billion belly. It's too late for others to be afraid of me. What am I afraid of? After thinking about this, Nka immediately relaxed a lot. With the deafening heartbeat, the Imperial engine slowly became quiet. The movement here also attracted the attention of Smoker, who was patrolling frantically in Logue Town during this period. Emperor Nka, you are finally here. Suffer death. Smoker's lower body becomes elemental, spraying smoke and propelling it through the air. Nka, who had finally calmed down, was now completely panicked. Boom, 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 boom. The deafening Imperial engine sounds again. A powerful sense of oppression came overwhelming, causing Smoker's body to stagnate suddenly. That sharp and soul-piercing gaze came over. One glance. Smoker seems to have seen his own breasts. This damn oppressive feeling. At this moment, he realized that he was too naive. To even think about arresting such a ruthless person is simply overestimating one's capabilities. Hateful. Dying. This is the only thought in Smoker's confused brain. It's all my fault for being too impulsive and not obeying Marshal Sengoku's orders. What to do? What to do? A large amount of cold sweat seeped out from Smoker's forehead and dripped on the ground. Because of that terrifying sense of oppression, he can't even maintain his elemental state now. Yes, out of desperation, Smoker had an idea. Quickly took out the phone bug. Hey, what? My grandma gave birth. Okay, I'll be there right away. After hanging up the phone, Smoker pretended to be nonchalant and walked back the way he came. He walked calmly for a few meters. Then start trotting. Run a little further, speed up, and start running. Because I was so panicked, I fell to the ground and then rolled and crawled away. 14 Where did you all come from? Advertise here. Smoker. This guy is so aggressive, but he was scared away by me. And you still run around like you're crawling and peeing. Hey, you're a marine mad dog. As things have developed to this point, and cause feeling is nothing but absurd. 2F** King ridiculous. He has come all the way up to now, but he has no strength and is full of luck. Forget it, let's go see the execution platform. The imperial engine gradually stopped. Touching his nose, and Ka walked aimlessly in embarrassment. The pedestrians on the road were all scared away by me. I couldn't find anyone to ask for directions. Forget it, let's just walk blindly. The execution platform is in the square anyway. It's impossible to find it in such a big square. Mom, who is that big brother? He's so cool and scary. There are children looking at Nka's cool and stunning back with admiration. Bang bang. The child's mother immediately slapped them both. That's a big pirate with a bounty of 2.1 billion belly. He eats 50 kids every day. The mother's ferocity scared the child to tears on the spot. Bang bang. The child's mother gave him 2 more big bidu. If you cry again, Nka will come and eat you. The child was immediately frightened and tried hard not to cry. Since then, there is a rumor in East Blue that Nka's reputation can stop children from crying. It will directly become the childhood nightmare of all children in East Blue. Of course, Nka, who listened to all these words without hesitation, almost felt his waist tremble. F***ku. 50 kids a day, isn't it so outrageous? Slander me. Can fame stop a child from crying? That's Jong Babai, not me Nka. Please don't give me any more weird halos. Nka felt like crying but had no tears in her heart. What is this all about? Finally arrived at the square. But, by the way, why is there no one in the square? We finally found the square, but it was not what Nka had imagined. The originally bustling square. Now there are so few people around. No, not even a bird at all. Where are the people? But since there's no one around, I'll let it go. After Nka looked around, he determined that there was no one here. He immediately climbed onto the execution platform quickly. Prepare to experience what Roger felt back then. Check in at famous attractions. Climb the execution platform. Nka finally realized how Roger felt back then. You will be at the top of the mountain and have a panoramic view of the mountains. Absolutely amazing. Great pride rises in my heart. Anyone there? There's really no one. No one. Then I'll just shout. Arefati Anka, I'm the man who wants to become the Pirate King. After repeatedly confirming that there was no one around, Nka became excited. Immediately hit the jackpot. No one can hear it anyway. Arefati Anka, I'm the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Nka is the man who wants to become the Pirate King. One Piece's man. The heroic and cold voice echoed between heaven and earth. The lingering sound lasts for a long time. The young man's stern face, sharp eyes, Hawkeye's figure. Have to say, this scene is so cool. Then, it's so cool. Idols are so heroic. You are the man who will become the Pirate King. A green-haired coxcomb jumped out, shouting with admiration. Because of Ultimate's worship, he can even look directly into Nka's eyes. Bartolomeo, the boss who manages 150 towns. Nka was struck with thunder in an instant. When did you get here, coxcomb head? He was shattered inside, but he shouted expressionlessly. It's finished, it's finished. So, this guy saw all of the scene where he just passed the 2nd grade. Wow, I instantly feel ashamed to see anyone. My idol calls me coxcomb head. I'm so happy. Bartolomeo hugged his face and twisted happily. What an amazing man. You are the man who wants to become the Pirate King, then let me support you in becoming the king. Ace, who had wandered off somewhere, unexpectedly appeared below. He roared equally boldly. Nka suffered another critical attack and everyone was torn apart. Why the hell are you here? But Nka had no time to be shocked. Another figure jumped out. What you did just now was like Roger was alive. Smoker frowned slightly and said in a daze. He seemed to be recalling some extraordinary memory. Why are you here too? Nka is messy. How many people are there? He had just repeatedly confirmed that there was no one there. As expected of the captain of Mahawk. But it wasn't over yet. Mahawk, with a smile on his face, leaned against the wall and cast an affirmative look. Are you there too? Nka is numb. How many more people are there? Is everyone here? Instantly, he had a bad feeling in his heart. Just as he thought, I saw that it was like magic. The originally empty square. In an instant, there was a lot of traffic, crowds of people, and excitement. Deus and other younger brothers, as expected of the boss. He is determined to be the pirate king. Passerby A. How amazing. That man's courage. Passerby B. We have witnessed history. Passerby C. I seem to see the shadow of Roger. IF asterisk King knew it. And Ka's heart is filled with despair. Damn, they are all here, not a single one of them, even the passersby, A, B, D, are all here. Click, click, click. The sound of the shutter clicking startled Ka. He looked up. I saw a news bird taking photos like crazy. F asterisk KU, Morgans. Don't shoot, don't shoot. 15 One Piece. Scene reenactment. Shichibukai. Advertise here. Can this world be destroyed? This is Ka's only thought now. Damn it, I thought there was no one around, so I let out a good shout to express my ambition. It turned out to be all people. Directly to the scene of large-scale social deaths. And, Morgan's idiot is still taking photos up there. Without even thinking, Ka can guess what tomorrow's newspaper will look like. Even if, the new One Piece Ka appears, he won't be surprised. The bounty will definitely increase too. Even if you do nothing, your bounty will increase. That's outrageous. Now that things have come to an end, Ka is heartbroken. But since this is the case, let's completely ignite it. Everyone, please listen to me. I, Arefati Anka, am the man who wants to become the Pirate King. New World. World Economic News Service. What the hell? Morgans, who was drinking water, squirted out a mouthful of water. He stared dumbfounded at the scene transmitted by the phone bug. The former Pirate King Roger's execution platform. The high-spirited and oppressive young man showed his ambitions with abandon and confidence. Below, Ace Hawkeye and other heroes witnessed this historic scene. I do not know how it is. This scene coincides with the scene where Roger was executed more than 10 years ago. Morgans rummaged frantically. The whole office was turned into a mess. Finally, I found some old photos of Roger, the Pirate King, being executed. Placed next to a photo of the young man standing on the execution platform. Morgan's eyes light up. This is really the most interesting news of this century. One Piece. The scene reappears. He is the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Emperor Ka. That's what the newspaper wrote for me. Gahahahaha. Morgans laughed, put one foot on the table, and Hockey directed the reporters to move. But then, he seemed to remember something again, and threw away the photos of Roger and Ka. Same place, different people on the execution platform. One old and one young, the old era and the new era, more than 10 years later, the inheritance of will. Sold out. Tomorrow's newspaper will definitely sell out. Just thinking about it makes people excited. Hang Pirate King Roger's photo and Ka's photo together in the most conspicuous place in the newspaper. The title is, The New Generation of Pirate King. Gahahahahahahaha. Morgan's laughter becomes more and more insane. Rows of reporters wrote furiously. A large number of newspapers titled, One Piece New Generation, began to be printed on a rush basis. At the same time, Naval Headquarters, Marineford's highest level conference hall. Sengoku Garp, Crane Zephyr, Kizaru Aokiji, all gathered together, and a bunch of Marine Vice Admiral. Let's take a look. Sengoku frowned, indicated to the primary school to push out the screen. I saw it in the picture projected by the phone bug. A young man is high-spirited, cold and arrogant, standing on the execution platform of Roger the Pirate King. It's like Roger is reborn. Even in terms of temperament and sense of oppression, he is even better than Roger. All Marine generals looked at this scene solemnly. This scene slowly overlaps with the scene of Roger's execution. This is so shocking. Witness history. It feels like the torrent of time is rushing towards your face, making everyone feel numb. This is Smoker Live. The situation is really getting out of control. Sengoku rubbed his brows and said with some distress. He knows it very well. The threat of the emperors and Ka is far greater than that of the four emperors. Similar to Whitebeard Kaido and his like, who insists on separatist rule and dominates the mountain as king, there is no way they can compete with Ka. This guy is someone who can truly change the world. If it's not contained, his momentum will continue unabated, and neither four emperors nor us will be able to stop him. How things develop will be completely beyond our expectations. Crane was the first to express his opinion. She advocates nipping threats in the bud. But this plan was quickly rejected by Sengoku. Inappropriate. It's true. Four emperors red-haired Shanks and I discussed the idea of killing Emperor Ka. Shanks even went to meet the five elders about it. It's just the result. Sengoku hesitated to speak. What's the result? Stop showing off. The anxious Garp shouted immediately. This shit Ka. Because of him, Marine holds meetings every day. You have nothing to do, right? You guys are free. Garp, is still busy making donuts. Do it quickly, do it quickly. Don't waste time. As a result, because of the absence of Mihawk and Jinbe, Shichibukai suddenly had two vacancies. The three major forces have undergone huge changes, which is no longer enough to maintain balance. The government decided to recruit the emperor and Ka as Shichibukai. This way his Hawkeye and Jinbe can continue to serve the government. Shichibukai ended up saying nothing less, and one more. The government is still as naive as ever. Speaking of this, Sengoku couldn't help but sneer. Invite and Ka to become Shichibukai. Would someone like Hockey's character be worthy of Shichibukai's position? Will I be willing to work for you? This decision of the government is completely feeding the tiger with one's own body. In the end, it will be backlashed and lead to self-destruction. Isn't this good? Turn enemies into friends and resolve the fight perfectly. Kizaru said lazily. He doesn't care anyway, it's best to fish if you can fish. Everyone rolled their eyes at him speechlessly. You guys really don't worry at all. Okay, Garp, you go and invite Ka to become a Shichibukai. If he refuses, just evacuate and try to avoid contact. Sengoku agreed. The first level of officialdom crushes people to death. Military orders are like mountains, and the five elders' decisions can only be carried out no matter how reluctant he is. The view returns to Logue Town. Along with shouting out in front of everyone on the high platform, I am the man who wants to become the Pirate King. And Ka felt that his body had also changed. 0.16 New abilities awaken. Overlord shocked. The realm of emperors. Advertise here. It seems like something is coming out. Choke. Out. Something reaches a critical point and completely explodes. Like a flood. Buzz. A powerful momentum suddenly burst out. Centered on Ka, sweeping the whole place. From passers-by A, B, D, to Ace and Hawkeye, everyone was shocked. Everyone seemed to be frozen in place as if a restraining spell had been cast on them. Boom. With the first person to fall. Bang bang bang. The crowd fell like dominoes. In fact, even Ace and Hawkeye are shaky. They involuntarily cast Conqueror's Haki to resist, but to no avail. The strong sense of oppression made the two of them sink and almost fell to the ground. What a terrifying momentum. Ace gritted his teeth and resisted with difficulty. At this moment, the beauty in his eyes seemed to turn into a big sun. How can my own little spark compete with the brightness of the big sun? The extremely restrained sense of oppression makes it impossible for anyone to have any thoughts of struggle and resistance. So powerful. Being able to persist until now without falling down is enough to prove that Ace is a hero among people. Like Smoker, Bartolomeo and the like, they fainted the first time Conquerors broke out. This is the first time I've seen this kind of Conquerors. The sharp eyes of Hawkeye, who was dripping with cold sweat, were filled with disbelief. In his eyes, Ka on the high platform is like a great axe that creates the world, sweeping and suppressing everything. Stronger than 100 soldiers, invincible in the world. And Hawkeye himself is like a nail clipper, facing the giant axe Kamui, he can't be any smaller. This is simply unreasonable. He is the greatest swordsman in the world. The strong general. Why is it also being suppressed? It's incredible, even Shanks can't do this. The strongest newcomer in 800 years. It's so outrageous and unreasonable. Finally, except for the trembling Ace and Hawkeye. In the entire square, no one could remain standing. Open black lens bracket Conqueror's Haki Katakana middle dot Overlord is shocked. Close black lens bracket. The effect is unknown. If it is strong, it becomes stronger. Close black lens bracket. Teach students in accordance with their aptitude, and accurately apply different weaknesses and suppression effects to each breath. 1,000 people will have 1,000 different feelings when they are suppressed by your conquerors. Close black lens bracket. The stronger you are, the harder it is to withstand your pressure. Close black lens bracket. This is so cool. And Ka's eyes lit up, looking at the crumbling Ace and Eagle Eye below. He had a feeling that as long as he exerted a little force, these two guys would be knocked down. Finally has substantial attack capabilities. I am no longer a vase who can only show off and scare people. And now his identity as a strong man has been completely confirmed. No need to worry about revealing your secrets. Even Hawkeye can bring him down. Don't say anything like Whitebeard Kaido Akainu. For a while. And Ka actually feels like he regards all the heroes in the world as being the first to sell out. I feel so excited that I want to fly into the sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the sun. Fortunately, the news bird had already run away. Otherwise, he would have to knock that little beast down to make soup. But the power of awakening. It's not just the Overlord shock. Emperor Domain. Open a powerful domain that can cover the whole body for hundreds of meters. In the field, your power is doubled and you have the ability to teleport. Let's experiment. And Ka can't wait to open the Imperial realm. While he is familiar with his abilities, he can also show his holiness in front of others. Wherever I go, it is my king's land. An indifferent and overbearing voice sounded, and he stepped lightly on the execution platform. A layer of brilliant golden light enveloped the place. At this moment, and Ka's power reaches its peak. The imperial crown appeared on his head, and the five-clawed dragon robe appeared around him. Behind him, there seemed to be a golden dragon chair carved with dragons and phoenixes, symbolizing power and status. Those eyes that were indifferent to everything were as cold and ruthless as an emperor. Full of oppression. It's almost intense to the point of substantial coercion. It actually made Ace and Hawkeye feel like they are with you like a tiger. So scary. Base. Then, without any warning, without any swaying, and Ka flashed and appeared under the execution platform, in front of Ace and Hawkeye. So fast. The pupils of the two people suddenly shrank, the hair on their bodies exploded, and they entered a state of high alert. Quick. It's so fast. They didn't even see Ka's movements clearly. There is no breath of Ka in the perception of seeing, hearing and color. It's like appearing out of thin air, teleporting. Everyone who was in the way has been cleared. Little ones, it's time to set sail. Nka, who was crowned in dragon robes, waved his hand and Haki shouted. Turtle Brand Conquerors, Imperial Engine, Imperial Domain, Overlord Shock, Calmness, Direct Strike to the Soul. So many skills. He now has some doubts about whether he has really eaten any Emperor fruit. But after careful reflection, there are no clues, and there is no possibility of taking devil fruit. It seems these are all cheats. Although he is still a scumbag with a combat power of only 5, he now at least has the ability to pretend to be a ghost. I know, boss. Ace raised his arms and shouted. Ka has cancelled the suppression of Overlord Shock, and he can move freely and quickly wake up Deus and others. And Smoker was woken up when Ace was torturing Deus and others. But he was faking it. Smoker felt that in this situation, it would be better for him to faint. Otherwise, it's not the case if you pursue it, and it's not the case if you don't pursue it. Anyway, Marshal Sengoku has orders ahead. He was also ordered to pretend to be faint. Shanks, the people I follow are much better than the people you risked your arms on. The thoughtful Hawkeye also followed the team. Everyone got ready and headed straight for Upside Down Mountain. 17 Young Bartolomeo, pay homage to our Emperor. Advertise here. After calming down, Ka found that he could no longer use Overlord Shock again. His heart instantly went cold. Finally got an attack skill, but it turns out it can't be used. How is this going? However, having said that, such a powerful move must consume a lot of stamina. Why is my physical and mental strength not affected? Could it be that this move is just like the Emperor Engine, a useless physical skill and a passive skill? If so, that makes sense. Next, Ka began to use Conqueror's Shock crazily. Finally made a sad discovery. That is, all his skills are passive skills. Overlord Shocked, automatically triggered by high emotions. No wonder. Doesn't that mean that this move is not for him to attack, but for him to show off? Seeing Roger on the execution platform, the Overlord was shocked. Seeing the Upside Down Mountain, Overlord was shocked. See the legendary Sky Island and be shocked by the Overlord. In short, as long as there is a scene where famous people are named, Ka Overlord Shock will be triggered involuntarily. Vomited. This girl is actually a skill that allows him to show off. Could it be that he was destined to take the pretense route of appearing holy in front of others? The other skills are also terrible. They are all psychological warfare and cannot be used to attack at all. Turtle Brand Conquerors. Skills are passively locked and cannot be used actively. Imperial Engine. Automatically triggered by fear. Stay calm. Welded to death. Straight to the soul. Welded to death. The Realm of Emperors. Automatically triggered when your foot steps on the ground. In other words, as long as I keep my feet on the ground, I will always maintain the image of wearing the Emperor's crown and the 5-clawed dragon robe. Everything else is okay, but the Imperial realm is a bit unacceptable. He is not an emperor, and he does not have a kingdom or a palace. He wears a dragon robe every day and shows off. It's really too pretentious. Look, why is the boss always wearing a dragon robe and a crown? Shish, don't make any noise, that's the awakening form of the boss's Emperor fruit ability. What? Fruit power awakening. That's even rarer than Conqueror's Haki. But doesn't this state consume a lot of energy? Why can the boss maintain it all the time? Of course it's because the boss is too strong. Maintaining the awakened fruit ability is as common to him as drinking tea and eating. First heard that Marine Vice Admiral Dalmasha can also maintain human-animal form for a long time, but compared with our boss, it is still inferior. The younger brothers praised it enthusiastically. Ka was instantly messy. He knew it. Something will happen if you keep maintaining the Imperial realm form. By the way, when did my fruit power awaken? Maintaining the awakened state of fruit ability is as common as drinking tea and eating. Are you so imaginative? That's a bit too much. You said that and let Katakuri and Doflamingo live. How did you know that the fruit's power was awakened? What confuses Ka the most is that his younger brothers, who have never even been to the Grand Line, actually know about the awakening of Devil Fruit's abilities. And he even thought about it. Simply outrageous. Normally, these country bumpkins who have never seen the world should have never heard of hockey. Master Hawkeye told us, everyone said in unison. Nka turned his surprised gaze to Eagle Eye. The latter coughed unnaturally and his face turned slightly red. When he was bored cleaning knives, he liked to tell stories to these boys. It has to be said that Hawkeye has become very obsessed with this feeling of admiring the appearance of his younger brothers who have never seen the world. Hockey or something. Devil Fruit's abilities awaken. Even the emission armed color, the Conqueror's entanglement, foreseeing the future, seeing and killing and hearing the voice of all things. Hawkeye told his younger brothers when he was bored. It made everyone sigh with emotion at how big the world is. And Ace also worked harder and trained harder, and his strength improved by leaps and bounds. Okay. And Ka helplessly spread his hands. What else could he say? You can't say that this isn't the awakening of your devil fruit ability, right? That's even more unreasonable. I can only acquiesce. Inexplicably, devil fruit's ability awakened. But the problem is that I don't seem to have devil fruit at all. So cool. You are truly an idol. Maintaining such a handsome imperial form all the time, he is truly a living emperor. From the wooden barrel next to it, a coxcomb head emerged unreasonably. Bartolomeo. Seeing this scene, everyone except Ka looked expressionless. Everyone's jaws dropped to the ground in shock. When did this guy get involved? You're the crested one. Ace looked surprised. Apparently the two had just met on the island and had a good relationship. Outrageous. Hawkeye was completely speechless. When did this damn coxcomb head sneak up? Why didn't he notice it at all? Why? Everyone completely ignored what he saw and heard. Is there something wrong with my observation, Hawkeye? Eagle Eye is somewhat doubtful about life. Ace. Bartolomeo smiled and greeted Ace. The two had a wonderful experience in Logue Town and established a fairly good friendship. But Bartolomeo didn't have time to deal with Ace now. Because he has more important things to do. I saw Bartolomeo rolling up his sleeves. Bow down and bow. Little Bartolomeo, pay your respects to our emperor. Long live my emperor. Long live. 18 The emperor's canonization. Feng Ba Tuo's imperial guards with swords in front of him. Little Bartolomeo, pay your respects to our emperor. Long live my emperor. Long live. Bartolomeo shouted loudly and raised his butt high. Bow 3 times and kowtow 9 times, and bow down to the ground. Everyone was dumbfounded. Anka, Ace, Hawkeye. Brothers. No, bro, are you serious? This guy wears a dragon robe, do you really think of him as an emperor? Is this what he was like when you met him? Hawkeye didn't know when he appeared next to Ace, and touched Ace's arm secretly. Where does this weird thing come from? He was so fed up with his boring life that he almost died laughing. No, I don't know him. Ace speaks righteously. Such a middle-class guy, such an exaggerated licker, I can't have anything to do with him. So King embarrassing. Damn it, who is this guy? For no reason, he feels very unhappy. That's right, he can lick better than us. Damn sycophants. The younger brothers gnashed their teeth and became jealous. Kowtow to my emperor. Such a great idea, why didn't they think of it? Damn it, this kid took the advantage. Quote. And Ka's face was expressionless, but his heart was already crazy with MMP. Although, wearing a dragon robe, I am the emperor in your eyes. Such a loyal little brother is really touching. But it's not good to die if you go too far. Now he has already embarrassed himself and pulled out a marineford with his toes. Etc. Something is coming out again. Emperor canonization. You can canonize a younger brother who is 100% loyal to you. After being canonized, all attributes of this little brother will be greatly increased by 1/10. Close black lens bracket. Walter. Bartolomeo's worship awakened an ability for himself. The confused Ka changed his face in an instant. This damn guy is a great hero. I love you. Although his face was expressionless, his tone was extremely gentle. The main theme is the ultimate contrast of being cold on the outside and warm on the inside. Go forward and help Bartolomeo up in person. Little Zunji. Bartolomeo was flattered when he was helped up, and his eyes filled with tears. At this moment, he was extremely happy. And Ka, who was groping in his mind for a while, sadly discovered that the Emperor's canonization is also a passive skill. Conditional triggering is required. In other words, the opportunity to confer a title on my younger brother is rare but rare. What are you waiting for? Bartolomeo obeys. Thinking of this, Ka immediately shouted. He doesn't want to miss this opportunity to confer. Who knows what year the next time the canonization skill will be triggered. Young man, please listen. Bartolomeo immediately fell to his knees again. This guy's loyalty is absolutely maxed out. It's simply more exaggerated than a star-chasing girl. Ka was deeply impressed by this character when he read comics in his previous life. Unexpectedly, Luffy's loyal little fanboy became his own. What a twist of fate. However, what official position should I give him? Correct. Isn't this guy a user with Paramesh's barrier fruit ability? Has almost invincible defense. It can be called an absolute defense. And he just needs a strong and reliable bodyguard to protect his life. This is really a pillow for those who are sleepy. For a time, Ka's eyes looking at Bartolomeo became more and more intense. Dear you, my life and fortune depend entirely on your love. Bartolomeo is sealed. I will appoint you as my imperial bodyguard with a sword. You will be a guard around me and protect my safety without any mistakes. As Ka's cold words fell, Bartolomeo's mood is also at an all-time high. He leaned over excitedly and kept kowtowing. I obey, little one. The singing and harmonizing of these two people had already dumbfounded Ace, Hawkeye and others. But crazier things are yet to come. See, as Ka's words fall, his words follow the law. The magical power of law appears. A faint golden halo appeared around Bartolomeo. Wisps of light enveloped him. The armor fits together well. Transform into a fitted armor and a sword. The Golden Crow Great Sun Helmet, the Golden Lion Swallowing Heaven Armor, the 10 Directions Mandarin Jade Belt, and the exquisite gravel boots. A man relies on his clothes and a horse relies on his saddle. This set of strange equipment is blessed with gold rims. Bartolomeo, who was originally a ruffian, suddenly looked majestic and powerful. Guards with swords in front of the emperor. Enter Bartolomeo. Ace. Hawkeye. Brothers. What happened? No, you guys are serious. Oh. Too handsome. Bartolomeo, the sword-wielding guard in front of you, thanks the Lord for your kindness. Bartolomeo's eyes were filled with stars, and he almost fainted from his handsomeness. A powerful sense of happiness surrounded his mind. This boss is so handsome. I wear a dragon robe and a crown, and I don't forget to distribute equipment to my younger brothers. Now Bartolomeo, who is wearing armor and carrying a sword, has the word, guard with a sword, written on his face. He immediately stood behind Anka and looked around cautiously. Bartolomeo has not forgotten his duties. As a sword-carrying bodyguard in front of the emperor, he must remain vigilant at all times to protect Ankai's safety. This exaggerated attitude made everyone angry. Good guy. This sword-carrying guard is really on the line. And Anka is finally comfortable. He was protected by Bartolomeo, an iron bastard who was armed with swords. Full of security. 19 The bounty exceeded 3 billion Baileys. The 5th Sea Emperor. Begging for a monthly ticket. Advertise here. I have the turtle shell conqueror's hockey myself, and now I have a physical turtle shell. Mental and physical double absolute defense. Simply heaven defying. Ha 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 ha. And Ka laughed loudly in his heart, and he finally no longer had to live in fear. Now you can become completely arrogant. Boss, you, him. The boys looked at an A in dragon robe and the majestic sword-wielding guard Bartolomeo with their mouths open. Is this little gangster now part of the establishment? Is the suit still so handsome? Simply incredible. And Ka's method of imperial canonization is similar to that of the Golden Emperor Tesoro wearing golden equipment on his subordinates. But it's much more clever and magical than Tesolo's method. What boss? You want to call me the emperor? Bartolomeo drew his sword and glared angrily, saying fiercely. Being consecrated as a sword-carrying guard before the emperor, Bartolomeo carried a sword that was comparable to the 21 swords. Even Mahawk, the Hawkeye, is very interested. Quote. My emperor. The younger brothers secretly sighed at Ba Tuo's shamelessness, and rushed to pay homage to our emperor. It made Anka really feel a little elated. Don't say anything else. This feels really good. Maybe, he can really try to be the emperor. But the emperor needs territory, and now he has no base except the Fishman Island in the New World. It seems that it is not too late to go to the New World to become the king of the mountain and the emperor to rule the world. Bartolomeo, what's the name of your knife? The eagle's eyes stared intensely at the sword in Bartolomeo's hand. This sword had a fatal attraction for the swordsman. The total length of the knife is 1.5 meters, the blade is filled with cold light, and the handle is inlaid with a golden tiger head. It is priceless. Kill the traitor and eliminate the obscurity. Hockey is extraordinary. Hey, let's talk about this sword. It was given by our emperor and is called the long-lived sword of our emperor. Bartolomeo smiled, holding the long knife in his hand sacredly, with a pious and fanatical expression. Quote. The corners of Hawkeye's mouth twitched unnaturally. Yes, he shouldn't ask. Can other guys be canonized? At this time, Anka was still thinking about his canonization as emperor. Finally discovered. Except for the crazy fan Bartolomeo, no one else can trigger it. Neither Ace nor Hawkeye seemed interested. The triggering conditions are quite harsh. It seems that now, I can only play role-playing with Bartolomeo. Naval Headquarters. Marineford's highest level conference hall. Garp Loudon has already set off in a hurry to invite Anka to Shichibukai. And all the Marine generals stared at him with big eyes. The picture projected by the phone bug freezes in the image of Anka wearing a crown and a dragon robe. Smoker was knocked unconscious, but the phone bug he carried was not affected. As a living body, it has the same characteristics as objects and is not affected by Anka. It is really a magical creature. Until Anka used the Emperor's realm to teleport away, Sengoku immediately cut the screen back to the previous frame and froze it. What do you think? No matter how you look at it, this look is not simple. A crown with 12 jade beads on the front and back, and a golden 5-clawed dragon robe. This form is very powerful just by looking at it, and it must have very strong combat power. Could it be that Devil Fruit's ability has awakened? Sengoku was suspicious. But what is certain is that Anka's threat is even greater. The dragon robe and crown are the same as the ancient Eastern emperors I have heard of. Emperor Anka, in this state, his terrifying sense of oppression has almost doubled again. And a layer of yellow halo swept out, covering the entire venue from Anka's feet. This kind of field ability. It's completely the characteristics of Paramesha Devil Fruit's awakening. It seems that this guy's Devil Fruit ability has awakened. Counselor He Shen Ran said. Things are taking a turn for the worst. Devil Fruit's power awakens. Even in the whole world, strong people with this kind of ability are rare. Conqueror's hockey is in ruins, and the overlords are like Crucian carp crossing the river. But there are only a few people who can develop and awaken devil fruit's abilities. This requires extremely high understanding and a high degree of adaptability to the fruit. The conditions for Conqueror's Haki are even harsher. In short, demon fruit power has strategic strength. The speed is also very fast. Anyway, I didn't see it clearly. Porosalino, can you see it clearly? Aokiji's focus is on the other hand. He has sharp eyes and stares at the picture. To this day I am still deeply shocked by Nka's teleportation technique. Too fast. It's so fast. Ace and Hawkeye weren't the only ones who didn't see clearly. He can't see clearly either. The speed is too fast, almost teleporting, and light cannot catch up with him. Terrible. Kizaru spread his hands and said in a coquettish manner. Everyone was silent for a while. Teleport. Even Kizaru, a man who is about to become a ray of light, is not sure of catching up, let alone them. Perhaps we should reformulate Nka's bounty. Let's use this photo of the crowned dragon robe as a reward. As for the new reward, it will be set at 3.3 billion belly. No one has any objection. After a long time, Sengoku finally spoke. The plan to increase Nka's bounty was unanimously approved immediately. 2.1 billion Baileys, to 3.3 billion Baileys. An increase of 1.2 billion Baileys. It can be seen that the awakening of Nka Devil Fruit's ability has already made Marine sweat. New World. World Economic News Service. 3.3 billion Baileys. This is absolutely crazy. It's only 200 million belly less than the world's greatest swordsman, Hawkeye. The new Emperor of the Sea is here. The theme of the next issue of the newspaper is, The Fifth Sea Emperor. As soon as he got the new bounty, Morgan smelled the smell of storm and money. In the reward order, the Emperor wears an Emperor's crown and a 5-clawed dragon robe. His whole body is filled with the aura of sanctity and inviolability, so precious. The gaze that directly penetrates the soul is even more oppressive. Just by taking one look at it, Morgans has the urge to bow down. His Majesty the Emperor is so oppressive. It makes people want to kneel down. 20 Morgans, I must pluck your hair out. Begging for a monthly ticket. Emperor Anka, captain of the Emperor Pirates, has a bounty of 3.3 billion Baileys. Mahawk, the swordsman of the Emperor Pirates, has a bounty of 3.5 billion Baileys. This is a veritable double-yolked egg. No, a double-yolked egg. The new Emperor of the Sea is here. Supernova. No, they are the kings from East Blue. Expedite printing of the newspaper. We're going to make a lot of money again. Morgans licked his lips greedily. He doesn't care how the world will change, he only knows that newspapers with Nka will sell out. As long as he makes money, other things have nothing to do with him. False time mover, Shanks. Real movers of the times, Morgans. Boss, Upside Down Mountain is here. The navigator Deus held a telescope and stood on the observation tower with excitement, watching. Red Continent and Grand Line are 2 rings respectively, so there are 2 intersections. The first intersection is Upside Down Mountain. Upside Down Mountain is an incredible and dangerous mountain that serves as the entrance to the Grand Line. There are a total of 5 waterways on Upside Down Mountain, connecting East Blue, West Blue, South Blue, North Blue and Grand Line. Going upstream, the terrain is complicated. Without elite navigators, it would be as difficult as climbing to the sky to climb Upside Down Mountain. It's so majestic. The majestic spectacle in front of you is incredible. It's simply not like the human world. It's no exaggeration to say it's a heavenly scene. For a moment, Nka couldn't help but feel high and excited. Ambition seemed to turn into a breath in my chest. Spit out gently. Buzz. The powerful invisible aura pours out. Overlord shocked. This time Nka had experience and controlled the force without stunning the boys. The ship climbed to the top of the Upside Down Mountain, and his figure reached its peak at this moment. The momentum has also reached its peak at this moment. What an amazing man. Mahawk was secretly shocked and smiled slightly. He had already seen this level of conquerors under Roger's execution platform once. But no matter how many times he saw it, it would always leave him stunned. It's really too exaggerated. Ha 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 ha. Ace didn't say anything, just laughed uncontrollably. I laughed until tears came out. As expected of my emperor, he is so domineering and handsome. Bartolomeo knew it was this dead movement without even thinking. The boys all looked at this scene in shock. The last time I was stunned before I had time to fully experience it, it was a huge loss. They can't miss the legendary scene this time. Pirates have a tradition, which is to swear their dreams on Upside Down Mountain. Come on boss, shout out your dreams. Deus moved out a wooden barrel and said excitedly. This is also a famous scene. Even the DNA of Senior Hamey and Ka is ready to move. His mind was filled with excitement, Conqueror's Haki was evaporating like no money, and he raised one foot and stepped on the barrel. Dream. Become the Pirate King and become the strongest in the world. The corners of Nka's expressionless face turned up in an invisible and weak arc. It is no longer possible for me to be a salty fish in this life. If that's the case, then just turn the world upside down. My dream is to support the captain and become the Pirate King. As soon as Nka finished speaking, Ace rushed up and stepped on the barrel. You guy, dreams are no child's play. How can you not have your own dreams? Nka turned around in surprise, faced Ace's smirking face, and finally swallowed his words. There are too many expectations on him now. My dream is to be defeated by other swordsmen. Unexpectedly, Hawkeye also joined in this passionate scene between the two. He put his feet on the barrel and coldly told a very strange dream. Good guy, are you seeking defeat alone? My little dream is to follow my emperor and conquer the north and south, overthrow the government, and rule the world for eternity. Let everyone in the world become my emperor's subjects. Let my emperor build an empire more powerful than the world government. Let my emperor's flag be planted on every island, even on the stars, the moon, and the sun. Bartolomeo's enthusiastic speech was an eye-opener for everyone. Overthrow the government. You really dare to say anything? The protagonist and Ka looked at him blankly. You boy. The ambition is bigger than mine. My dream is to become the best navigator. My dream is. Then Deus took the younger brothers and told them their dreams one by one. Click click click, the shutter clicked, and all of this was captured by Newsbird again. And Ka, Mahawk, can you chop that guy off and make some soup? He's had enough. Damn Morgans. Keep an eye on Lousy, right? I advise you not to do that, Captain. We will be blacklisted by Morgans and we will never have Newsbird deliver newspapers to us again. Hawkeye shrugged. He won't do this. Are you kidding me? He was almost bored to death. Being blacklisted by Morgans again and having no newspaper to read, wouldn't it be boring, and life would be worse than death? Quote. And Ka was silent, thinking about the consequences. He compromised. A boring sea journey. It is indeed inseparable from the newspapers delivered by Newsbird. Otherwise, in the vast sea, the pirates who cannot receive information will completely lose contact with the outside world. Morgans. Wait. When Lousy gets to New World, I will pluck your hair out. Shoot, and get out after shooting. Go back and tell Morgans that our Imperial Pirates newspapers will be free from now on. Did you hear that? And Ka cursed fiercely. These news birds are very intelligent and can not only understand human speech but also communicate with humans. In the original novel, Nami even bargained with Newsbird to buy newspapers. Birds are singing and flowers are fragrant. I know. The news bird, who was almost scared to death by Nka's murderous attitude, nodded like a chicken eating rice. Fly away from here as if running away. 21 Grandpa Pirates. Crocus request. Advertise here. What? The newspaper is free. Why doesn't he grab it? Morgans was furious when he heard the news. He just made a few billion belly through Nka. And Nka actually wanted him to provide newspapers for free. It was an obvious robbery, yet he was not allowed to live. Newsbird. Birds singing and flowers fragrant. I sincerely suggest you agree to Nka's request, otherwise we will never be able to take pictures of Nka again. The birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant, because as soon as we get close, those guys will knock us down and make soup. Newsbird, who was still frightened, is still trembling. Its words were like a sharp knife, piercing Morgan's heart. Although these free newspapers would make him bleed. But if Nka cannot be photographed, his losses will be too huge to be estimated. Which one is more important and which one is less important can be known at a glance. It seems that we have no choice but to bite the bullet and give in. If it's free, it's free. No, what a big loss. Damn Nka, Morgans cried bitterly, and it looks like someone won't be able to sleep tonight. The scene returns to Upside Down Mountain again. Boom, boom. The ground shook as a huge beast kept crashing into the red line. Even though it was badly bruised, it kept banging against the impossible red line. Waves of mournful screams resounded throughout the sea. Crocus, who returned from traveling with Roger, told Laboon that Brooke and the others had died in the battle. But Laboon was unwilling to accept this cruel fact and still waited day after day. It's really shocking. Seeing this scene with my own eyes, Nka was indescribably shocked. In the past, I could only be a bystander, witnessing the adventures of Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates. And now, he can also participate in it personally. This feeling is really amazing and exciting. Boss, the Grand Line is magnetically disordered and there are only 7 routes. Ordinary pointers cannot be used. Permanent pointers are needed to navigate. The lighthouse at the foot of Upside Down Mountain sells permanent pointers. I'll go down and buy some later. As a navigator, Deus had done enough homework in advance. Prepare to purchase equipment when the ship docks. That whale is called Laboon, and its story is widely circulated in the first half of the Grand Line. Amazing guy. Eagle Eye rarely took the initiative to explain. It seems that this guy is not completely cold, there is still warmth in his heart. The emotional Laboon is a creature he admires. Well, let's dock. Nka nodded, and his mind became active. He was wondering if he could take Laboon on an adventure and reunite him with Brooke. This can be regarded as a foreshadowing of the same level as Jin in One Piece. Emperor Nka, Mahawk, Fire Fist Ace, welcome everyone. I don't have anything to entertain you here. If you don't mind it, just eat it. I heard that Haisha Jinbe has also joined your team. Why don't you see him? Under the lighthouse, an old man with a flower head was lying lazily on a rocking chair. Plenty of food was placed before them. It seems that it was prepared early. One Piece Roger's ship's doctor traveled around the world and witnessed the existence of the great secret treasure. He is extremely powerful and has a strong body that can take a bath in Laboon's stomach acid. At the same time, he is a very senior pirate senior. Crocus, who has been stationed here for 50 years, has witnessed the setting sail of countless pirates from the third generation. Prestige in the pirate circle. It can no longer be described as highly respected. Real grandpas. Thank you for your hospitality, then I'm welcome. After Ace politely thanked him, he rushed over and wolfed down the food. With the force of the wind and the remaining clouds, he finished all the food in an instant, and then burped with satisfaction. Hawkeye, who had just elegantly tied his napkin and was about to eat gracefully with a knife and fork. Is this gone? No, he hasn't started yet. Sometimes I really want to flip the table. Hawkeye pulled out the black knife without saying a word. Bastard Ace, let's fight to the death. Slow down, slow down. Crocus's eyelids twitched and he quickly started to argue. He also had a relationship with Hawkeye, so he treated him warmly, but he didn't expect that the situation would develop like this. There's still food, I'll make it later. The top experts were incredibly efficient at cooking. Almost in the blink of an eye, Crocus served up steaming new meals. Hawkeye then gave up and tasted the food elegantly again. This time, for the sake of Crocus, he didn't care about Ace. And Enka is not surprised at all by this situation. Ace is indeed Luffy's brother, and the protagonist family are simply humanoid losers. Then everyone started a carnival party. Crocus and Hawkeye chatted away. Enka, who was eating quietly, was absent-minded and looked at Laboon, who was standing aside from time to time. This guy was tired of all the hard work and was looking at them curiously. As a beast, its instinct tells it that these humans are dangerous and powerful. Crocus also noticed Enka's gaze and immediately introduced with a smile. It seems that you are very interested in Laboon. It is a whale with human emotions. 50 years ago, a group of very generous pirates came from West Blue and took Laboon, who was young at the time, on a journey. The island whale is a social animal, and Laboon has regarded the group of pirates as companions. But because the Grand Line is too dangerous, their captain asked me to take care of Laboon. I made an agreement with Laboon to travel around the world in 3 years and then take it with me. But it's been 50 years since those guys left, and they haven't come back yet. Crocus looked reminiscing. It seems like I have returned to those young days when I was constantly fighting. Scenes of the warm relationship with Laboon also appeared in my mind. Back then, I went to sea with Roger and was looking for the movements of this group of pirates, but unfortunately I found that they had already died at sea. I told Laboon the bad news, but Laboon didn't want to believe the cruel truth at all. It's still hitting the red line. If it continues like this, it will die sooner or later. Enka, give it a try. If you can untie Laboon's knot, I will be grateful. In fact, Enka originally had the idea of taking Laboon away. Now as a favor, I agreed immediately. Point 22. If you don't believe it, come with me to find out. Advertise here. Oops, there's sand in my eyes. Wow, it's so touching. Laboon, I didn't expect you to have such a past. What a good whale that values love and justice. Boss, let's take Laboon with us. After hearing Laboon's story, the boys were immediately moved to tears. They were holding Laboon's big head, which was crying like a mess. And Laboon also looked lonely and whined. Ha 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 ha. And Ka laughed inappropriately. There was no expression on his face, and his smile was not pretty at all. But it gives people a very exciting and reassuring feeling. Everyone looked at him expectantly. How would this extremely hockey man choose? But if you think Enka is going to invite Laboon, that could not be more wrong. For the next time, Enka just focused on eating and didn't mention anything about Laboon. During this period, his younger brothers came to persuade him more than once, and he agreed with a smile, but there was no movement. The boys are so anxious. Bato, what are you doing? Pressing down Bartolomeo, the evil-looking dog, and Ka felt a little dumbfounded. This chicken thief actually used a silver needle to test the poison in his food. The master is still here. There is absolutely no shyness at all. Too cautious. Okay, this guard with a knife is very competent. Hey. Bartolomeo smiled honestly. As my emperor's sword-carrying bodyguard, I must be vigilant at all times to protect my emperor's safety so that there is no possibility of my emperor being in danger. Looking at Bartolomeo, who spoke extremely seriously. And Ka was extremely pleased. What he wants is this sense of security. Well done, Bator. It's just that I've already eaten half of the meal. If you want to test poison next time, try to eat it before I eat it. And Ka patted Bartolomeo on the shoulder and praised. Although this funny thing is not very reliable. But he accepted it. Follow me. Bartolomeo burst into tears after being praised and felt that his life had been sublimated. I twisted around happily and was about to fly into the sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the sun. Hey, are there any normal people under this guy's command? Crocus leaned over Hawkeye's ear and asked quietly. He was very dissatisfied with Bartolomeo's behavior of testing poison on the food he provided. What kind of weird boy is this? Humanoid bastard Ace. Big fan of Barto. There is also a group of flattering boys. And the oppressive boss who has always maintained the awakened state of his fruit ability and pretended to be cool. There is not a single normal person in the entire Imperial Pirates. I think I'm pretty normal. Hawkeye said coldly. Hearing this, Crocus' eyelids twitched. Normal, certainly. If you ignore the fact that you eat with a knife and fork that has evolved into a black knife, it is quite normal. The next day, after having had enough food and wine, everyone was full of energy and set sail excitedly. The Imperial pirates have purchased supplies, prepared permanent pointers full of magnetism, and are ready to go. Wearing an emperor's crown and a five-clawed dragon robe, Ka came to the bow and looked at Laboon. A strong sense of oppression emanated from him. Obviously facing this whale as huge as an island. But an A's figure does not appear small at all, but becomes taller and taller. It is as if Tathagata is playing with a monkey in the palm of his hand. Holy, majestic, powerful. Everyone looked at this scene in shock. Even Crocus has to admit that in terms of pressure alone, that idiot Roger is far worse than Ka. The visual and psychological impact of this young emperor is unparalleled. Laboon. Crocus says Brook is dead. Do you believe? Ka faced the wind and shouted loudly. Woo. Laboon screamed loudly, and its huge head almost shook like a pendulum. It certainly doesn't believe it. In other words, it is unwilling to accept this fact. If you don't believe it, come with me to find out. Go to the Grand Line and find Brook. Ka stretched out his palm towards Laboon. The condensed sense of oppression is transformed into an emotional appeal that almost jumps off the screen. Waves, boys, whales. This moment, Ace smiled, brightly. Hawkeye smiled, so much that he didn't even realize it. The boys were stunned because Ka was so handsome. Crocus smiled too, laughing heartily, extremely happy for Laboon. The Grand Line is dangerous though. But with a strong partner like Ka, Laboon will definitely be protected. Crocus' intuition told him that Ka is definitely someone worth entrusting to his trust. Woo. Laboon was moved to tears and resolutely followed the pace of the Emperor pirates. At this moment, everyone completely saw the charm of that man. Hawkeye's evaluation is, it doesn't depend on his ability or moves, just his Grand Line-like broad mind and courage are impressive. This kind of man is exactly what I want to follow. The Emperor pirates took Laboon away. Crocus' life is finally clean. He leisurely bought today's newspaper, and when he flipped through it, his eyes suddenly widened. The new generation of Pirate King. Close double-angle bracket. In the picture, Hockey's incomparable Ka stands on the execution platform of Roger, the Pirate King, and boldly declares that he is the man who will become the Pirate King. Next to it is a photo of Roger's execution. Both of them are so Hockey. A hero grows old when he is old, but he becomes more powerful when he is sick. A single spark can start a prairie fire, unstoppable. The new era and the old era seem to collide in this little newspaper. That sense of impact as the wheels of time and destiny roll over in front of you. Crocus was stunned for a moment. Roger, fate is really wonderful. 23 Be bold. How dare you disturb my emperor's holy chariot? Advertise here. Boss, the direction the pointer points to is an island called Little Garden. It is said to be an island with prehistoric creatures, and giants have been seen moving around on it. It takes a year for the permanent pointer to fully accumulate magnetism. We have to think of a way. Deus looked at the permanent pointer worriedly. These pointers were extremely disorganized and had obviously been scrapped. Only a year on this island can make the hands full of magnetism. But that's bullshit. Their pirate group is a super newcomer who is gaining momentum. How could you waste a year in a place like this? If you look forward and backward, don't go to sea and become a pirate. The path of a pirate is up to you. Ka stood at the bow of the ship. The imperial crown is dazzling in the sun, and the five-clawed dragon robe flutters in the sea breeze, making a hunting sound. The heroic spirit rose from his body and went straight towards the bullfight. A cold face, resolute and deep eyes, and a majestic and sacred temperament full of oppression. This man is quite handsome. It's so cool, you are worthy of being my emperor. Bartolomeo's eyes filled with tears. He was so handsome that his idol cried. Big tears burst out like a fountain. Those were tears of excitement. If you look forward and backward, don't go to sea and become a pirate. The path of a pirate is up to you. These are my emperor's wise words. Write them down verbatim. Bartolomeo took out a small notebook and wrote down Ka's quotations. Although they had seen it many times, everyone was still shocked and dumbfounded by Bartolomeo's exaggeration. When it comes to star chasing, even Hawkeye has to admit that he is no match for Bator. Bro, you win. Congratulations. It doesn't matter. Ashore. After replenishing the supplies, we will set off. Anyway, with Laboon leading the way, we don't have to worry about getting lost. With a wave of his hand, he didn't care about the pointer problem at all and directly ordered the ship to dock. With Laboon the whale exploring the way, they don't have to worry about getting lost. Animals' induction of magnetic fields is sometimes more powerful and accurate than permanent pointers. Okay. Go ahead. After receiving the captain's order to dock, Ace rushed straight into Little Garden like a wild horse. The pirates swarmed the shore. Only Bartolomeo jumped angrily. If they all go down, what about the safety of our emperor? What a bunch of unreliable guys. Don't worry, my emperor. With my protection, my emperor will be safe. Don't worry, how can you not be worried? Since having Ba Tuo as a guard with a knife, Ka can sit back and relax completely. And Hawkeye also picked up the black knife and prepared to disembark. He already likes to use adventure to pass the boring time. Eagle Eye, please stay here for a moment. I heard that there is a giant goldfish island-eating beast here that can devour the island. Please take care of Laboon's safety. And Ka kept an eye out. The plot of Little Garden that impressed him most was the two giant pirates and the giant goldfish island-eating beast. Island eaters are even more powerful than sea kings. Before you are sure whether Laboon is the opponent of the island-eating beast, you must be careful. As you command, Captain. The one that allows Eagle Eyes to do my own thing freely and obey orders. There are only orders from the captain. He sat back gracefully and began to close his eyes and meditate. At the same time, he used his sense of sight to sense the sea below and carried out his mission seriously. This feeling seems not bad. Laboon, don't run around, wait for us here, we will be back soon. After giving Laboon another warning, and Ka got off the boat with confidence. Laboon in the sea nodded and stayed quietly next to the boat. It's a whale with human emotions. It's a pity that I can't understand what whales say. When Jinbe, who can talk to fish, comes back, they should become good partners. My emperor, please. Bartolomeo's legs turned into flying legs. A long red carpet was spread out on the ground. Guard with a sword, what are you doing? And Ka's head is full of black lines, he just landed on an island. How come being F***ked by this guy is like ascending the throne? Don't let dirty soil contaminate my emperor's sacred shoes. Bartolomeo spoke righteously. Don't worry, my emperor, I can roll out the red carpet as fast as you can. Because the length of the red carpet is very limited. While the show is moving forward, Bartolomeo will dismantle the red carpet at the back and spread it in the front. Of course, not only did he not find it troublesome, he also felt extremely honored. I Ching is interested. The corner of Nka's mouth twitched unnaturally. He finally understood why among his younger brothers, only Bato could trigger the imperial canonization. Good guy, if you don't canonize, who will? Next. Nka just walked forward step by step. Bato directly used the barrier fruit ability to push the barrier to open a path, and at the same time, he kept tearing down the red carpet and laying out the red carpet. The stunned look made Nka walk on the red carpet every step of the way. Boom. There was a sudden change, and the sound of the volcanic eruption was earth-shattering. Immediately afterwards, there was a noisy battle sound. Bartolomeo was furious. You are so bold that you dare to attack our emperor. What kind of crime should you do? The angry Bato rushed out without forgetting to lay out the red carpet. Nka also rushed forward and saw a shocking scene. Boom. Boom. Two warriors as huge as mountains are engaged in a fierce battle like Mars hitting the earth. One looks like Zhang Fei, with a crackling laugh coming from his mouth. One looked like Guan Yu, with a loud and heroic laugh coming from his mouth. As expected, Ace and others stood by to break up the fight. Just for a moment, Shinyu Ace already has a good relationship with Guan Yu Dori. Dios and others also established friendship with Zhang Fei Brigi. How brave, you two stupid men, actually disturbed my emperor's holy cavalry. Watch me kill you. Facing a behemoth dozens of meters high, Bartolomeo was not afraid at all. Good guy, you are really brave. Everyone's eyes turned around. At this time, Nka, who had witnessed the battle of giants for the first time, could not help but feel high and heroic. Something is coming out. Overlord, shock, 24 Megatron Little Garden, get 2 more giant brothers. Advertise here. Overlord shocked. An unparalleled domineering momentum swept over him. It's like the terrifying and world-destroying power of God. Trees, flowers, plants, Ace, all living creatures present will inevitably feel the trembling from their souls. It's like looking directly at the highest mountain in history. This damn oppressive feeling. Since you see my emperor, why don't you kneel down? Bartolomeo shouted at the top of his lungs. He is the only one who is not affected. In fact, this overwhelming feeling of overlord intimidation not only did not frighten Bator, but made him excited like chicken blood. Simply outrageous. Everyone. What does Bachua want them to do? Kneel down and shout to see the emperor. Stop making trouble. Who are you? Dori and Brigi stopped moving at the same time. The opponent's appearance is really too bluffing. The arrogant and domineering younger brother leads the way. Stepping on the red carpet, wearing an imperial crown and a dragon robe, his eyes are indifferent and cold, striking the soul, and his face is cold, like a great emperor. Exhibiting a domineering aura unscrupulously. Two giants tens of meters tall have never felt so insignificant like now. Although they lowered their heads, their posture was that of looking up. That's right. Dori and Brigi are looking up to Nka, he is the real giant. That kind of oppression at the soul level. Even Dori and Brigi felt extremely ridiculous in their hearts. That is, the god Elbaf they believe in will not be a match for the man in front of them. This is incredible. I can't think of any thought of being an enemy. Sign into famous locations and trigger conquerors Hawkeye's and Ka, which is definitely the strongest form. Just happened to be bumped into by two giants. My emperor is the 5th sea emperor in the new world with 3.3 billion belly. The new pirate king. I ask again, why don't you kneel down when you see my emperor? The barrier in Bartolomeo's hand turned into the shape of a racket. It felt like two giants didn't kneel down, so he just slapped melon seeds on their ears. Hiss. 3.3 billion Baileys. The new pirate king. Dory and Brigitte looked at each other and gasped. What is the concept of 3.3 billion Baileys? The bounty for both of them is only 100 million Baileys. But what the two of them don't know is that their 100 million belly is the 100 million belly 100 years ago. The gold content can match the current 2 billion Baileys. Just two giants think. If 10 of them were tied up, they would have 2 billion belly. Even 10 of them would not be a match for the man with a bounty of 3.3 billion belly in front of him. Although I have never heard of One Piece, the name alone is extraordinary. Could it be that he is the king of all pirates? That's a really big shot. He is my captain, the strongest newcomer in 800 years, the man I recognize and choose to support as king. We are not enemies, there is no need to be at war with each other. Ace jumped out and admonished. He has to be the boss. These two stubborn giants insisted on fighting, and they couldn't stop them no matter how hard they tried to persuade them. However, the boss stopped them right away. Your captain, I'm glad that I am no match for such a powerful man. The indomitable giant warrior was afraid of fighting for the first time. Dory was relieved now and was already thankful that he had made Ace. Even Ace himself was not sure of victory. Not to mention that oppressive man. It's really nerve-wracking. Facing such a man, no matter how brave a warrior is, he will feel fear. Click, click, click. Brigitte laughed to hide his embarrassment from fear. I very sincerely admitted that I was scared. His good friend Dory did not laugh, but nodded in agreement. I'm afraid no one can face such a suffocating sense of oppression calmly. God of Elbaf, forgive us for our blasphemy against battle. If you let us point the glaive at that man, we will turn our swords towards you without hesitation. Ace, don't interfere, I don't want to ask a third time. Bartolomeo holds the barrier racket tightly and is fierce. He was still struggling with the fact that the two giants disturbed Nka but did not kneel down. In Bado's view, this is extremely disrespectful. Both Dory and Brigitte were trembling. In fact, they really wanted to give in and kneel down, but they really couldn't save their dignity. But that oppressive man was too scary. Otherwise, let's kneel down. Boom, boom. Two mountainous giants knelt on one knee and saluted sincerely. The knee, which was as huge as a house, hit the ground, causing an earthquake-like sensation. This movement finally woke Nka up. That's right, he had been in a daze just now, so he allowed his younger brother Ba Tuo to do whatever he wanted. In my previous life, I was on the ground. When have you ever seen a giant dozens of meters tall? It's simply bigger than a high-rise building. He was dumbfounded for a moment. But now, Walter, these two giants were forced by Bado to kneel to him. I'll just stay blank for a while. Forget it, take it under your wing. Then fill in the two admirals of Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. My imperial pirates are missing two powerful warriors. Are you interested in joining my pirates? And Ka, who was still in a daze just now, had not had time to take back his overlord shock. Speaking at this time is like the voice of panic. It exploded like thunder in the giant's heart. His expression is indifferent and powerful, even more oppressive than the scene where the ant threatens Jinbe. Dory and Brigitte instantly broke out in dense cold sweat on their foreheads. Did they dare to refuse this? We are willing to join the Emperor Pirates. It is our honor to serve you. Without any hesitation, the two giants knelt down on one knee, bowed their heads and offered their allegiance. And this scene, once again captured by the news bird in the sky. 25 The giants surrender. Morgans, F***KU. Advertise here. New World. World Economic News Service. Morgans, who was lying lazily on the leather sofa, saw Nka's new photos from Newsbird. No longer calm. In the screen, the two huge giants knelt down on one knee and bowed their heads to the young man. The young man wore a crown, a dragon robe, and a red carpet. His powerful pressure made all the creatures present bow down. Although his figure is incomparably small in front of the giant, the terrifying oppression that has nowhere to place is like the sun in the dark night, swaying Hawkeye wantonly. Giant. No matter how huge the creature is, it is far less tall than this man. He is high above, looking down on all living beings. He is the real giant. A born emperor. The huge giant bowed his head to the tiny boy. This scene is full of visual impact. Indescribably shocking. I'll be a good boy. Morgans was dumbfounded. The cigar in his mouth fell involuntarily and set his clothes on fire. The burning pain of the flames and the smell of burning feathers woke him up. Quickly extinguishing the flames, Morgan stared at the photo intently. He said, "The strongest country Elbaf, the entire giant race has pledged allegiance to the Emperor Nka. Assistant. Just subdued two giant pirates, right? How did it become the strongest country? How can I see it?" Morgans narrowed his eyes and pointed at the photo. Look, these two giants are no ordinary giants. They are the leader of the giant tribe and the captain of the giant pirates who were offered a bounty of 100 million belly 100 years ago. Blue Ogre Dory, Red Ogre Brigitte. The two giant leaders surrendered to Nka on behalf of Elbaf. Nka has gained the allegiance of the entire giant race. As Morgans explains, the reporters suddenly showed expressions of realization. So that's it. This is big news. Some reporters swallowed their saliva in excitement. That's right, big news that can shock the world. Just write it like this. The strongest country, Elbaf has declared its surrender to the Emperor and Ka, and the Emperor pirates have obtained the allegiance of all giants. Morgan's eyes flashed with greed. You're going to make a lot of money. In just 1 month, the price of newspapers has more than doubled. And the people have no complaints and are happy to buy. All thanks to Nka, this is really my cash cow. Comma. Little garden. Now Nka still doesn't know that Morgan's guy is talking nonsense again. He is patiently mediating the conflict between the two giants. This matter was handled without too much trouble. It was so long ago that the two giants could not remember why they fought. The fight to the back was entirely based on stubbornness. Simply dissatisfied, but they believe that mediation is just a matter of one sentence. Are you sure you want to continue fighting? If any of you still want to continue, come on, I'll accompany you. And Ka said so. The two giants looked at each other, and finally shook hands and reconciled. Now Ka finds it increasingly difficult to start the Imperial engine. With the Turtle Shell Conquerors Hawkeye and the Turtle Shell Bartolomeo escorting you, you can't be scared at all. Gululu. I don't know whose stomach made the noise. Captain, the dinosaur meat on this island is delicious. It's the most delicious meat I've ever tasted. Ace, the big rice cook, drooled all over the floor and took the opportunity to suggest. There are extinct ancient dinosaurs in Little Garden. The meat is so delicious that you will never forget the taste once you eat it. Even though he had just eaten 2 dinosaurs, Ace's bottomless pit-like stomach couldn't be filled at all. Really? Hurry up and roast the dinosaur meat, let's have a party. And Ka looked excited, he had long wanted to taste the legendary dinosaur meat. That paralyzed face without any expression can only be moved by delicious food. Only love and delicious food can't be let down. Click, click, click. Just let me entertain you all. Brigitte laughed boldly and immediately set off to catch the dinosaur. The huge dinosaur is here, just like the little chicken. They were carried back one by one. Quack, quack, quack. Then I will treat you all to the fine wine from my collection. Dory also laughed boldly and took out his water tower-like wine barrel. The giant portion of wine and meat perfectly interprets the word, wine pond and meat forest. It's simply a foodie's paradise. Okay, it's my turn. NT, big barbecue technique. Ace jumps into the air with a catapult and activates the Mara Mara fruit ability. A large amount of moderately hot flames spurted out. Cover the dinosaur evenly in all directions and start grilling. As the flame itself, Ace's ability to control flames is at its peak. In a short time, the dinosaur was roasted until it was charred on the outside and tender on the inside, sizzling with oil, and the rich aroma made everyone's mouths water. In the end, Dory sprinkled the seasoning to resolve the battle. Barbecue T-Rex. Barbecue Triceratops. Out of the oven. Let's move. Ace, who didn't feel it was hot at all, jumped in and ate it. The younger brothers also rushed forward. Only Bartolomeo stopped and Ka, who was about to move, took out a silver needle and started to test the poison. After a busy meal, confirmation completed, my emperor, it is safe to eat. Bartolomeo smiled and took credit. Everyone. Ace made this barbecue dinosaur in front of everyone. If you don't believe Ace, don't you believe your own eyes? Quote, comma, quote. And Ka was speechless, ignored Ba Tuo's joke, and started eating happily. Everyone ate, drank, and repaired like this for a week. Intel, boss, Lord Hawkeye has received a brand new newspaper. Not only is the newspaper free, but boss, your bounty has increased again. The younger brother was so excited that the newspaper ran over. The first time he took the newspaper, and Ka, who was drinking beer, squirted out. The strongest country, Elbaf has declared its surrender to the Emperor and Ka, and the Emperor pirates have obtained the allegiance of all giants. Close double angle bracket. Morgans, F***KU. Subduing Dory Brigitte into your mouth means gaining the allegiance of the entire giant race. The difference of a few words. The threat level is completely different. It would be strange if Marine's bounty for him doesn't increase.